What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 8 centigrams chapter 141. Are you Xiaozhi, the champion insulator? Alliance wants to steal the rockets? Advertisement in the image. What was originally a dark night suddenly turned into day. The scene finally switched to the protagonist this time, Xiaozhi. At this time, Xiaozhi, Misty, Xiaogang and others came to this city known as the most beautiful in the world, Odomare. Xiaozhi has obtained 8 gym badges. I also came here to relax before playing against the Silver Conference. As a result, as soon as I arrived at Odomare, I encountered the annual water race celebration in the Water City. So Xiaozhi and Misty went to participate in the competition as a matter of course. The water race is a race in which a water-type Pokémon leads a trainer and steps on the water pedal. This not only tests the power of water Pokémon and its speed on water. It also tests trainer's own balance ability and ability to control Pokémon. It's a very interesting competition. At the beginning of the competition, Xiaozhi, Misty and the previous champion Rossi took the lead. The Pokémon Xiaozhi uses is Totodile, and the Pokémon Misty uses is a Pokémon she doesn't have now, Corsola. Fans of the beautiful Corsola made Misty's eyes light up when she saw her. How come there is such a beautiful Pokémon? Is this a Pokémon that I will conquer in the future? Where does Professor Oak, Corsola live? I'm going to conquer her. Professor Oak thought for a moment and replied. Most of Corsola's ethnic groups are in the Johto region. You should be able to meet them when you venture to the Johto region. That's right, Misty, should it be yours or yours? That must be your destined Pokémon. Let's watch the video first. I will definitely win this game. Xiaozhi gets excited when talking about competitions. Regardless of any competition, he has a character that refuses to admit defeat. I've thought too much, I will definitely win the competition on the water. Xiaozhi wanted to refute, but something happened to him in the video. I saw in the video that Xiaozhi's Totodile was too fast, so it didn't turn around when it was finished. He threw Xiaozhi away directly. Just as he was about to hit the wall, Xiaozhi closed his eyes and prepared to endure the pain. But the pain I imagined didn't come. Instead, it felt like I had hit a ball of cotton. However, before Xiaozhi could react from the comfort of cotton, he fell directly into the river. Xiaozhi came out of the river and was confused, but there was no time for him to be in a daze now. Because he fell into the water, he suddenly became the last one, and he had to catch up quickly. So Xiaozhi got back on the pedal and drove Totodile to continue racing. But there seems to be something wrong with the speed of Totodile's restart. Totodile not only floated up from the water, but his speed was more than twice as fast as before. In Xiaozhi's opinion, it looks like Totodile uses light skills to float on the water, normal. The two short legs stared very fast. Xiaozhi doesn't know the specific reason for the strange phenomenon that's happening now. In short, just be fast. But the audience watching in the real world can see the mystery at a glance. Because the image deliberately released a little bit of that transparent figure for them to see. It also thoughtfully adds a bit of reddish color. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Will. Is that Latios? It should be Latios, right? Close black lens bracket. Karen. If my eyes are correct, that is indeed Latios. Close black lens bracket. One of the two is a super elite from the Johto region, and the other is an evil elite from the Johto region. I know a lot about super-type Pokémon, especially super-type mythical beasts. After all, one is the one who controls super-type Pokémon, and the other is the one who controls super-type Pokémon with blood. So they also know something about the legendary Pokémon Latios. Will. According to legend, both Latios and Latios can transform into human forms. Of course, they are not true transformations, but they use their own glass-like feathers to refract light to change their appearance. Close black lens bracket. Karen. In addition to transforming, Latios can also use light refraction to turn his body into a transparent color. If Tiandao Inventory hadn't added some background color to it for us to see, we would be like Xiaozhi and not know it happened. What? Close black lens bracket. Will and Karen have had a good time getting addicted to popular science. In the past, Professor Oak, Cynthia, Lance and others were there to popularize science. They were the question mark people. Question everything you see. This time they finally encountered knowledge they were familiar with. You have to come out to make your presence felt. After Will and Karen's popular science, everyone understood why Xiaozhi was so confused. After all, from his perspective, he can't see anything at all. Now the reason why Xiaozhi's speed has more than doubled is because Latios pulled the rope holding Totodile. That's why Totodile changed from running around in the water to floating on the water with light skills. Including the soft body that Xiaozhi hid just now, the more Latios. Is this the beginning of the story between Latios and brother Xiaozhi? Let me tell you, this start is much kinder than Mewtwo's start, Mewtwo's Hell Mode. Looking forward to the story of Xiaozhi and Latios. In the image, Xiaozhi is flying all the way with the help of Latios. It didn't take long to catch up with Misty and Rosie. However, just when Xiaozhi was about to pass the finish line at a speed that crushed the two of them, Latios turned a corner. She took Xiaozhi directly into the wrong track. Advertisement. So Xiaozhi, Lost the championship. Yulongdu. Ah this. Alder. Haha, it seems that Shotaro has no chance of winning the championship for the time being, close black lens bracket. Diantha. The champion is an insulator. I remember that during Alola's exhibition match, didn't the referee list the results of Xiaolu's 10-way trip to participate in the conference? It seems that no one except Alola has won the championship, close black lens bracket. Xiaozhi. I've got it. When I was on the Orange Islands, Charizard and Pikachu helped me win the Orange Alliance championship, close black lens bracket. Although it was just a brief scene, Xiaozhi remembered it clearly. After all, besides being the highlight moment before Charizard entered Charizard Valley, it was also his own highlight moment. In addition to winning the conference championship that time, he also won the championship in the next official competition. It seemed like he really got Alola. In the backyard of Professor Oak's laboratory, Qihong said to a slightly disappointed Xiaozhi. Don't worry, Xiaozhi, as long as you don't be careless or arrogant in the following games, winning the Indigo Plateau Conference won't be a problem. In other words, even if Xiaozhi is careless, he is unlikely to lose. After all, the players who came to participate in the Indigo Plateau Conference this time are all a baby team. There is no one who can fight, not to mention Xiaozhi who was specially trained by him. Even Gary is unlikely to lose before meeting Xiaozhi. Unless he has an old habit. Brother Qihong, yes, the Quartz Conference champion this time is none other than me. Haha, you booked Quartz Conference champion in advance before I take action? When I use the green training method to train Pokemon, it won't be a matter of minutes before I crush you. Hetui. It's the quarterfinals tomorrow, the top 4 next, and the finals the day after tomorrow. Is Big Brother Qinglu's training asking you to fly? Gary's face froze. He really didn't have enough time. His current strength is really far behind the 2 top generals Xiaozhi has. Charizard and Pikachu, these 2 Pokemon have not only been blessed with various rewards from Tiandao inventory, but also the talent is quite extraordinary, and it requires intense training. Even if he gets Qinglu's training method, he won't be able to surpass Xiaozhi's in a short time. That is a training method, not a cultivation method. We'll see. No one loses, so Gary said a harsh word and continued to watch the video. In the image, Xiaozhi lost the competition because he was taken to another place for no apparent reason. Totodile even showed a guilty expression because of this. On the contrary, Xiaozhi comforted Totodile. It doesn't matter, after all, everyone makes mistakes, don't worry about it. Wow, Totodile happily jumped into Xiaozhi's arms. Although it is a small thing, it vividly shows how Xiaozhi treats Pokemon. There will be no blame when Pokemon makes a mistake. On the contrary, I comforted him. Xiaozhi has always done this. In the end, Misty won the prize because Corsola's horn was just a few centimeters longer than Wailord's. After Misty won the championship, Rossi was not upset at all. Instead, he took Xiaozhi and others on a boat trip to Odomare. On the ship, Xiaozhi and others learned about the legend of Aldomare and got to know the 2 infinite Pokemon, Latios and Latios. At the same time, a very high-tech camera robot is hidden in the corner. Observe everything about Odomare. Needless to say, this is what the 2 female phantom thieves created. From the initial car flying machine to the current robot camera. The black technology in the hands of these 2 people is definitely more than a little or 2. Now these 2 are targeting Latios and Latios, and even Soul Do. If they really find the whereabouts of the 2 infinite Pokemon, I'm afraid even the legendary Pokemon will be a little troublesome. That robot camera has black technology that can detect human body temperature. The 2 sister phantom thieves also learned from the ancient book that Latios and Latios could transform into human forms. But they don't really become humans, they're just illusions caused by the refraction of light. So the structure in their bodies remains unchanged. The most conspicuous thing is body temperature. Their body temperature is much lower than normal humans. Therefore, this robot camera is a special camera specially used to find the humanoid appearance of 2 infinite Pokemon. Then, it didn't take long before they actually found him using this camera. The human being detected by the camera was a girl, so the 2 sisters determined that that girl must be the younger sister of the 2 siblings, Latios. So they immediately drove an electric boat and set sail instantly. What a coincidence. They happened to pass by the Rockets trio who were eating ice cream. Melted their ice cream directly. It is worth mentioning that this is already a twice scored goal. When we were racing on the water just now, Xiaozhi's charge was too big, so he drenched Team Rocket and others who were eating next to him. And now, their ice cream was directly destroyed by those 2 sisters. This makes the Rockets, who usually have difficulty eating a full meal, fuming. Advertisement: do these people know how difficult it is for them to have a full meal? It was so hard to have a full meal, but it was ruined both times. It is unbearable. You Longdu. Ahem, I have received professional training. Normally, I would never make fun of others. Unless I can't help it, ha ha ha, close black lens bracket. Diantha. The Rockets trio are so unlucky, it seems to me that they usually have one meal but not another. Finally, the food was a little richer, but both meals were eaten straight. It was flooded, sorry, I couldn't help it, ha ha ha. Damalanchi. Just join our alliance. What's the benefit of doing bad things? If you don't have enough food and clothing, if you join alliance, we will ensure that you have good food and drink for the rest of your life. Close black lens bracket. Dama Lanchi is actually quite envious of these three guys. A Jessie who is as good as a real rookie from Mega. A talking Meowth, eh? Well, James hasn't shown any special skills yet. But the people who are with these two are definitely not ordinary people. If they put their drive to do bad things into reforming Alliance, I'm afraid Alliance will change a lot under the influence of these three people. Jessie. Don't think about it, we are loyal to Boss Giovanni for life. Professor Oak. You also said the same thing during the last inventory. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Jessie. Close black lens bracket stinky old man. Don't open any other pot and lift it. Finally, Boss Giovanni hasn't pursued them to count yet, and now you actually bring it up again. What if Boss Giovanni breaks old scores? Giovanni. Don't think about it, they have been members of the Rockets their whole lives. If you want to steal people from me, just dream. Close black lens bracket. Giovanni has taken a stand. These guys from Alliance are blatantly trying to steal people from the barge list. He simply doesn't take Giovanni seriously, both emotionally and rationally. Giovanni had to speak out. After all, these three guys are actually quite talented people. It's just that I'm always stupid, and their origins are inextricably related to the Rockets. If Alliance robs people in front of them, where will the Rockets' face be? Although I have no face now, in the woods near the Indigo Plateau Conference. Jessie, James, Meowth and the three of them burst into tears. They didn't expect that Giovanni would take them so seriously. Even after seeing their betrayal, he still defended them. How could such a boss not follow him to the death? Be sure to capture Pikachu and present it to the boss tomorrow. Just use our latest robot Meow. Must be feeling awesome tomorrow. Team Rocket. Come on 3. In the image, Team Rocket and others were furious, but James soon discovered that the two people seemed a bit familiar. Isn't that Sana and Leanne? Ah, who is that? Those two are the #1 sisters in the Phantom Thieves world. They must have come to this city because there are rare jewels in it. Hearing this, Jessie instantly forgot her unhappiness and became excited. In this case, if we snatch the treasure from their hands, wouldn't it mean that we are the new #1 in the Phantom Thieves world? Sounds like a good idea. NYA. The three of them showed weird smiles together. If someone else showed such a smile, it would just be creepy. But the Rockets trio. Stop, don't go there, it's hell. Stop it, Ahuo. You can't do anything bad. If you three do bad things, you are helping Xiaozhi. What a joke, the Rockets trio are going to do something bad. After so many reviews, the audience has already understood what the Rockets trio are like. Whatever you can't do, become a field legend. So when the audience saw that Team Rocket was going to do bad things again, not only did they not feel disgusted at all. I even want to laugh a little bit. Chapter 142. Xiaozhi's boyfriend is so powerful, he resisted the phantom light without getting hurt. Advertisement in the image, the screen switched to Xiaozhi and others. At this time, they had just got off the boat and were about to go to the street to buy some food. While walking through an alley, Pikachu felt a little thirsty and happened to see someone drinking water from the faucet. He didn't call out to Xiaozhi and the others, and immediately followed him thinking of drinking some water. Who would have known that the man left immediately after drinking the water, and even turned off the water in a very environmentally friendly manner? This caused Pikachu to look pitifully at the few drops of water falling from the faucet. At this moment, a figure came over and turned on the faucet. Pikachu looked up and saw that the person who turned on the faucet for him was a very cute Stephanie. The girl has burgundy hair, the two sides of the hair stand up strangely, just like Latios 2 ears normal. Wearing a green short lining, a white skirt, and pink flat shoes. The whole person looks extremely cute. Pikachu could feel that there was a strange aura on the girl's body. However, Pikachu didn't think much about it, after shouting his thanks to the girl. I started drinking Tolkowski happily. At this moment, Xiaozhi discovered that Pikachu was missing, ran back to look for him, and happened to see this scene. So he smiled and said to Pikachu, Pikachu, did you meet a new friend? Pickup. Thank you for giving Pikachu water. After Xiaozhi said these words to the girl's expression changed slightly and she walked up to Xiaozhi. She was almost in front of Xiaozhi's face, and the distance between them was less than 2 centimeters. This made Xiaozhi a little overwhelmed. Then the girl sniffed something and circled around Xiaozhi. Do I know you? Facing Xiaozhi's question, the beautiful girl said nothing. After circling Xiaozhi, she ran away quickly. Xiaozhi was left confused. Open black lens bracket Cynthia. Is that Latios? Close black lens bracket. Dandy. The portrait detected by the two female monsters Leon and Sana just now using the surveillance camera is this girl. I think they're almost the same. Close black lens bracket. Steven. In other words, the reason why this girl approached Xiaozhi was to confirm whether Xiaozhi was the one who bumped into her just now, right? Close black lens bracket. Alder. Maybe Jotaro has a unique affinity for legendary Pokémon. He specializes in attracting legendary Pokémon or something. There shouldn't be such a thing. Ha 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 ha. Alder unintentionally revealed the truth about the world. In image after Latios left, Pikachu continued to enjoy the refreshing water. On the other side, Latios, who was running away, ran into the two female phantom thieves. After the two women called out her name, Latios looked extremely panicked. Then the two women released their spirits, the sun Pokémon and Ariados. Upon seeing this, Latios quickly started running away. Ah! Latios, why are you running away? That's right, I turned around and hit her. It's just a sun Pokémon and Ariados, there's no reason why she can't be beaten, right? Latios is a legendary Pokémon. It's at the level of a second-level god. How can it be impossible to defeat these two miscellaneous fish? Don't Latios want to harm humans? No way. These two people are not good at first glance. The audience was buzzing with discussion during the live discussion in the inventory forum. What strength is Latios, even if he has not reached the second-level god level? Can a naturally powerful talent allow him to become an elite-level existence at will? Can those two women's Pokémon be stronger than elite? No way. The number of appearances of the supporting audience is relatively small, but it still needs some embellishment, so a function similar to the barrage list was created on the Tiandao inventory forum, where discussions can be conducted in real time. In the image, while Latios was being chased, Pikachu, who was bathing in the spring, seemed to sense something. His expression instantly became serious. Pick up. After shouting seriously at Xiaozhi, Pikachu moved his limbs and ran quickly in one direction. Pikachu, what's wrong with you? Xiaozhi quickly turned off the faucet and caught up with Pikachu. Open black lens bracket will. How did Pikachu know that Latios was in danger? Close black lens bracket. Catalia. Is it the mutual induction between the mythical beasts? Close black lens bracket. Karen. What kind of mythical beast is Pikachu? Just stop making trouble. Close black lens bracket. Brandon. Iron Tail shreds thousands of years of ice, high voltage thunder shock smashes Latios, 10 million volt thunderbolt electric hemp Tapu Koko, and can even beat Ho-Oh in 2 moves in a parallel world. You tell me. He doesn't look like a mythical beast at all. Close black lens bracket. What Brandon said made her speechless. Yes. Can these kinds of achievements be achieved by normal Pokémon? Let alone normal Pokémon, even the top-notch quasi-god Garchomp Metagross rarely has such a record. At least Steven and Cynthia don't have any record of defeating gods yet. Looking at it this way, Pikachu is really outrageous. It doesn't seem wrong to say that he is a mythical beast. God of Thunder, Pikachu, advertisement in the image. Latios trotted all the way to a small bridge. Espeon used confusion to briefly control Latios. Then Ariados tied up Latios with a string shot. The two female thieves were also a little surprised. This legendary Pokémon Latios was easier to deal with than they thought. Legend has it that Latios is a super-powered and dragon-type Pokémon. But she was not only controlled by Espeon's confusion. He doesn't even have the strength to break free from Ariados' string shot. 012803203 Filu 194,572,060. Is this a power that is neither as powerful as the super-type Psychic nor as powerful as the Dragon-type? For a moment, the two sisters thought they had caught the wrong Pokémon. Pick up. What are you doing? Xiaozhi happened to see this scene under the leadership of Pikachu. The girl who was friends with Pikachu just now was attacked with Pokémon. How could the young man with a high sense of justice endure it? He rushed up and angrily scolded the other party. We are just confirming her taste, Santa spread her hands and said nonchalantly. She didn't want this silly-looking boy to know Latios' identity. Xiaozhi grabbed the spider silk that trapped Latios with both hands and said to the two of them with some rage. You two have really bad taste. As he spoke, Xiaozhi exerted force with both hands, and the spiderweb that could bind the divine beast Latios was torn in half by him. Let's begin. Mega's true rookie's natural power. You know, even Latios can't open that spiderweb. However, Xiaozhi tore it open with just a push of his hands. He was worthy of being the man who smashed Mewtwo barrier into pieces with one punch. You actually said such rude words to a lady. You are such a rude brat. There was a strange look in Lian's eyes. This kid's arm strength seems to be a bit abnormal. Sana, the blonde sister, shouted to Espeon on the side. Teach this brat a lesson, Espeon. Psybeam, analyze. The red gem on Espeon's forehead emits a strangely colored light. A direct hit on Xiaozhi, who was caught off guard. However, under everyone's shocked eyes, Xiaozhi only trembled for a moment and then returned to normal. The effect is greater than the slightest. It was obviously the first time for the Kaido sisters to see this kind of situation. I thought Espeon's attack would at least make this kid faint. However, let alone fainting, after being hit by Psybeam, this guy's eyes didn't even waver. It was like someone just gave me a push. What the hell is this freak from? Xiaozhi, who was suddenly attacked, was also a little angry and yelled at the two phantom thieves. Why are you attacking me all of a sudden? In this case, I won't be polite. Pikachu. Open black lens bracket Yulongdu. You Xiaozhi are still you Xiaozhi, close black lens bracket. Bruno. Even the fighting-type Pokémon must have suffered serious injuries after eating the Psybeam just now. Xiaozhi is he exercising his body to the extreme? close black lens bracket. Kaido. It's okay if you're not seriously injured. Look at it like this. Not even an injury, at most, it just shook Xiaozhi's body a little bit. What kind of exercise can you achieve this kind of physique? Close black lens bracket. Catalia. The attack is like a fighting type Pokémon, and the defense is like a steel type Pokémon. Could it be that Xiaozhi is a combination of the two, Orberg fighting wisdom? Close black lens bracket. Diantha. I think. Orberg straight men are more suitable. Kearney. Even I want to go to Kanto to become a disciple. If there is Xiaozhi's guidance, Lucario and I will definitely be able to fully grow in strength. Close black lens bracket. Kearney, the owner of the Sarah Gym in Sarah City in the Kalos region, is also a trainer who specializes in fighting. Trainers who specialize in fighting type will basically train with their own fighting type Pokémon. In the inventory, Xiaozhi's unscientific physique one after another, ADAG. From the initial shock and disbelief, Kearney is now in admiration. He even had the idea of going to Kanto to find Xiaozhi to train with him. But, she still has the Sarah Gym to manage, and she doesn't know when she can travel to Kanto. Image 1 Pikachu used Quick Attack to quickly rush towards the Sun Pokémon. However, the Sun Pokémon quickly dodged and landed on the Kaido sisters' ship. Xiaozhi has no plans to show mercy. Pikachu, Thunderbolt. Pikachu. The golden spark envelops the two sisters and Espeon. Flashing sparks are beating on them. The Kaido sisters were all numbed by electric shock. One of the sisters, Sana, even fell directly into the river. Let's go quickly. As he spoke, Xiaozhi took Latios's hand. Latios now looks like Stephanie, but when Xiaozhi held her hand, something felt wrong. But now that the situation is urgent, Xiaozhi doesn't have the time to think about those messy things. Shenbai said that Latios's changes are just an illusion caused by the light refracted by the feathers, so the hand Xiaozhi is holding here should be Latios's real hand, and it should feel different from the real Stephanie's hand. Advertisement before leaving, Pikachu also gave Ariados a thunderbolt to stop him in his tracks. Then I quickly followed Xiaozhi and Latios. Denji. Look, this is a normal reaction to thunderbolt. And Pikachu has hold back, close black lens bracket. Xiaozhi. If it's a pickup truck, if Chu attacked with all his strength, the ship would probably be scorched by electricity. Close black lens bracket. Taizan. If this thunderbolt hits Xiaozhi, it will probably be a tickle at most. After all, Xiaozhi is not only physically strong, but he should be shocked by Pikachu thunder from time to time. Lightning resistance is maxed out. Close black lens bracket. Diantha. Didn't anyone notice Xiaozhi's weird behavior this time? Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. I noticed it. Xiaozhi, who usually treats Stephanie as nothing, seems to be a lot more enthusiastic this time. Could it be that he feels that the child is Latios? Close black lens bracket. Alder. Ha ha ha. Shitaro's gentleness will always be reserved for Pokémon. Close black lens bracket. After being reminded by the champion, everyone also discovered that this time Xiaozhi seemed to be taking a lot of initiative. I don't know if it's an illusion, I'll tell you after reading it. In the image, Xiaozhi pulled Stephanie and ran wildly. Odomare is connected in all directions, and Xiaozhi doesn't know where he ran. Going round and back to the same place. Back to where Xiaobing and Misty are, but I finally got rid of those two Pokémon. When Xiaozhi wanted to ask what happened to Stephanie just now. When I turned around, I found Stephanie was missing. This made Xiaozhi confused. He had let go for less than 5 seconds just now. Why did the person disappear in the blink of an eye? Although some people are worried about Stephanie's whereabouts, there is no way to find her now. Xiaozhi and Misty Xiaogang first went to the most famous attraction in the Water City, the Great Cathedral. However, what Xiaozhi doesn't know is that the target of the two female phantom thieves has switched from Latios to him. Because there is no way to find Latios again, it is estimated that she has not turned into a human form at this time. So they had no choice but to settle on Xiaozhi. I don't know why I have a bad feeling. Me too. These two female thieves won't cause big trouble. It shouldn't be. And every time the inventory story ends, it's always a happy ending, and this time is no exception. Yes, brother Xiaozhi is here after all. The surveillance of the two female thieves made the audience a little worried. However, when they thought about Xiaozhi's various heroic performances before, they slowly felt relieved. As long as Xiaozhi is here, you can feel at ease. But what they don't know is, this time, even Xiaozhi can't save him. Image 1 After arriving at the Great Cathedral, Xiaozhi and others met a tour guide named Ben Gray. He intimately introduced everything in the Great Holy Church to Xiaozhi and others. Fossils of Kabutops and Aerodactyl on the ground. There is also a magnificent device in the middle of the church, a device used to protect the Water City. It's just that I don't know how to use this device so far, it's just used as an attraction. On the way, Xiaogang saw a beautiful picture, so he couldn't help but sigh from the bottom of his heart. I will definitely meet a beautiful big sister in this city. That won't happen. Misty held Togepi aside and complained helplessly. Kai Hong, who was watching the video, didn't even know how to complain. Sure enough, there is a big difference between Xiaogang in this world and Gang in their world. What is going on with this ISP? Just when Xiaozhi and others were visiting the special device, Xiaozhi suddenly discovered. On the second floor of the church, a girl was packing up her drawing boards and preparing to leave. He couldn't help but move forward to watch, and accidentally touched the protective device with his hand. Ben Gray was scolded angrily, but he finally got a clear look at Stephanie upstairs. Then Stephanie. Isn't it the Stephanie who was followed by the two women just now? So Xiaozhi told Misty Xiaogang that they should go to the Pokémon Center to wait for him. Ran out. He wants to ask that Stephanie what happened just now. Then Xiaozhi started to trot all the way, and a piece of beautiful music also played. Under this music, there's a feeling that makes people want to fall in love. Dandy. Xiaozhi this time is really a little different. Close black lens bracket. Steven. Is this Shidu enlightened? Xiaozhi would actually take the initiative to chase a Stephanie. Close black lens bracket. Diantha. Although I chased after Stephanie because I was worried about her safety, this is also a major event that shakes the world. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Haha, maybe. The Stephanie transformed by Latios is exactly what Xiaozhi likes. Close black lens bracket. Oak backyard. Looking at what Cynthia said on the barrage, Misty couldn't help but feel nervous. The Stephanie transformed by Latios is Xiaozhi's type? This made Misty start thinking wildly. Chapter 143. Latios' love for Xiaozhi. Many Stephanie are jealous. Advertisement. The Stephanie on the screen is Latios' transformed appearance, yes. But, from the outside, there is basically no difference from normal people. And, really cute, with burgundy hair, a white beret, and a green short lining and a small white skirt. She looks like a gentle and pleasant Stephanie. It's understandable that Xiaozhi likes Stephanie like this. It's just, why does she feel so uncomfortable in her heart? In the image, Xiaozhi followed Stephanie at a trot, and finally closed the distance. He shouted to Stephanie across a bridge. Wait a minute. For the girl with burgundy hair. Stephanie, who was holding the drawing board, was stunned for a moment, and then realized, wasn't the so-called burgundy hair her own? Then she looked at the person calling him. It was discovered that he was a boy with a hat that he had never seen before, and there was a Pikachu next to him. Why did you leave without saying anything just now? She looked at Xiaozhi with confusion on her face, as if she didn't know what he was talking about. What are you talking about, strange person? The girl felt that she had met a crazy man, so she trotted away quickly. When Xiaozhi saw this, he quickly followed him. When Stephanie was targeted and arrested just now, he couldn't just ignore it as if he didn't know. He wants to find out why Stephanie was attacked using Pokémon. However, the intricate streets in this city directly confused Xiaozhi. After chasing for a while, the person lost track of him, and Xiaozhi also lost his way. Pick up. At this moment, Pikachu seemed to see something and shouted to Xiaozhi. Xiaozhi turned around and saw on the small bridge next to him. The girl was looking at him gently, with a friendly smile on her face. Are you waiting for me? Didn't you run away just now? What on earth is going on? Xiaozhi has been confused all day since he came to Shuidu. His head is filled with all the water in Shuidu. The girl did not speak, but waved to Xiaozhi to follow her. Xiaozhi started trotting after her without thinking. Catalia. Have you noticed? Close black lens bracket. You Longdu. That goes without saying. As an investigator, I still have some discernment. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Bruno. What did you find? Close black lens bracket. Lorelei. As expected of you, Bruno, the only designated fun person in the champion elite group. Close black lens bracket. Bruno. I suspect you are dissing me, but I have no proof. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Although Stephanie's clothes are the same, there are a lot of things missing. The drawing board and beret are missing. Close black lens bracket. Wallace. The most important thing is that the way Stephanie looks at Xiaozhi is so gentle and kind, which is completely different from the cold look of Stephanie just now, I think. This is the real Latios. Yulongdu. Yes, the Stephanie whom Xiaozhi met in the Great Holy Church should be the one whom Latios is mimicking. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Bruno. Just for an inventory, are you all weird about details? Close black lens bracket. Agatha. Bruno, you should think about it carefully. You can't even see such an obvious difference. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Bruno. Close black lens bracket. Could it be that? It's not you who have the problem, but my problem. No way. My IQ shouldn't be this low, right? Bruno was lost in thought. Image 1. Xiaozhi followed the girl to the Verdandorf trail. After walking through the path, what appeared in front of Xiaozhi was a rather controversial building. But the destination that the girl brought Xiaozhi to was naturally not the building, but the wall next to the building. I saw the girl directly got into the wall on the side. Xiaozhi wiped his eyes and suspected that he had seen it wrong. It's obviously a dead end there, Pikachu. Pikachu called to Xiaozhi and ran in at the lead. Xiaozhi saw Pikachu also disappear behind the wall, and walked in with a determined expression. It actually went through the wall. After passing through a dark passage, the clouds cleared and the sun shone brightly. He came to a very beautiful garden. The water and sky are the same color, lush green mountains and green waters, flowers are blooming, and butterflies are flying quiver dance. This place is simply like a paradise in normal. There are many Pokémon living here. Everyone got along very harmoniously and friendly, and the surrounding audience also sighed. What a pure land. After Stephanie saw Xiaozhi come in, she continued to wave to Xiaozhi and Pikachu quickly followed. Now they are becoming more and more curious about Stephanie's identity. Why is she being hunted? Why do you know there is such a secret garden in Odomare? And why? Bring him here. Xiaozhi followed Stephanie, but when he arrived, he found that Stephanie was playing on the swing. The swaying and slightly happy look seems to be enjoying the happiest fun in the world. Even Xiaozhi couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. Suddenly, the small windmills around Xiaozhi began to rotate. Then, waves surged from the distant pool, as if something was rushing over. Advertisement. Although Xiaozhi was aware of it, he didn't see anything until a huge wave surged around him. Splashes of water hit his clothes. Only then did Xiaozhi realize that what he felt just now was indeed correct. Something was indeed coming. And it's something invisible. There seems to be something there. Pick up. Pikachu stood in front of Xiaozhi, and a move called Chiffon-Volt burst out, and a golden spark cut through the endless. But it didn't hit the opponent. The invisible figure directly knocked Pikachu into the air. It rolled over and over again on the green grass. Pikachu, are you okay? Xiaozhi quickly ran to help Pikachu up. Pikachu shook his head and said that he was fine. It's just a little bit of dirt on my face. At this moment, the invisible figure turned back again. Although Xiaozhi couldn't see him, the whistling sounds around him told him that the other party was coming. Its extremely fast speed gave him no room to dodge, so Xiaozhi could only subconsciously hug Pikachu. Some people will abandon Pokémon in times of crisis. There are people who sacrifice their lives to protect Pokémon in times of crisis. Xiaozhi is undoubtedly the latter. At this critical moment, the girl suddenly stood in front of Xiaozhi. The invisible figure stopped quickly. There was even a cloud of sand and dust all around because of the extremely fast sudden braking. The moment he saw the girl, the invisible figure slowly became colored. It has a streamlined body, the back half of the body is blue, and has jet-like wings. There is a red triangle pattern on the chest. The upper part of the body is white. It has triangular ears on its head, its face is white, and there is a white pentagon pattern in the middle. This is the legendary Pokémon that was seen in the previous inventory video and defeated by Pikachu. The infinite Pokémon, Latios. Latios repeatedly roared at the girl, seemingly asking her to get out of the way. His face also shows the look of rage. Latios? Xiaozhi also recognized this Pokémon as Latios. After all, this is a water city, so everyone who comes here knows Latios. Why is he angry? Pikachu looked like, we don't know either. Yulongdu. I'm afraid Latios regards Xiaozhi as an intruder. Close black lens bracket. Dandy. It should be so. After all, this place looks like a paradise. Normally isolated from the world, suddenly a stranger comes. It's no wonder that Latios will follow Xiaozhi from the west. Close black lens bracket. Diantha. Do you think there is a possibility? Latios thinks that Xiaozhi might abduct his sister, so he is so angry. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Lole. Oh. Is it a sister control? It's a sister control. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Thinking about it carefully, it seems that this is possible. The charm exuded by Xiaozhi is so great, no matter it is to people or Pokémon, especially to the elites. Close black lens bracket. Catalia. Xiaozhi x Latios. No way. Is it such a big deal? Open black lens bracket Bruno. You are so scary. Close black lens bracket Bruno said that he didn't notice it when he usually worked against these people. It turns out these people are Fujoshi, Latios and Xiaozhi. Can even say this? So scary. In the image, just as Latios and the humanoid Latios were confronting each other. There was a loud shout. Where did you two come from? Xiaozhi heard the sound and looked around, and a scene that shocked his brain appeared in front of him. A girl with burgundy hair. And another one? Xiaozhi looked left and right, wiped his eyes again, and finally confirmed. What he saw was not an illusion, but reality. But why are there two Stephanies? Moreover, the Stephanie on the left seems a little different, wearing a white beret and holding a drawing board in her hand. Answer my question. Stephanie slowly moved to Latios' side. She has a good memory. Just now this boy was chatting with her on the bridge. In the blink of an eye, they arrived at the secret garden that their family had guarded for generations. It's hard not to believe that this person is following her. Xiaozhi hurriedly introduced himself and Pikachu, and explained that he came with the girl next to him. However, before Xiaozhi could explain his reason for following the girl in the hat interrupted him and said, "You look suspicious no matter what, Latios." Scare. Just when Latios was about to take action, a slightly older voice came. "Cannon, Latios, stop." A fat old man with a white beard walked slowly. Xiaozhi also looked very surprised when he saw the old man. "You are not the old man who was our tour guide." Advertisement. Grandpa, this guy doesn't look like a good person. The two of them spoke at the same time. Ben Gray said to the girl next to Xiaozhi, QAnon. Everything this boy said is true. As for the reason why he came here, Latios, you want to play with him, right? Unlike teenage girls, Ben Gray is an experienced man with a gray beard. Judging from what he did in the church just now and Latios's behavior in protecting Xiaozhi, I'm afraid it was Latios who brought Xiaozhi here. Both Latios and Latios have the power to perceive human minds. Since Xiaozhi is recognized by Latios, it means that he is not. What a bad guy. Latios and Canon were too anxious, so they didn't see this level. In response to Ben Gray's question, Latios, the girl next to Xiaozhi, smiled and nodded. Xiaozhi was even more confused. Latios. What the hell? Grandpa, who are you talking to? Before Xiaozhi could react, the girl Latios pulled Xiaozhi to the swing nearby and started swinging. The wind is beautiful and the sun is shining, the birds are singing and the flowers are fragrant. The boy and girl are on the swing together. Beautiful music is playing and the two of them look so well matched. Kalo's Veneval town. It's hard, the fist is hard. You said it's okay to argue with other women, Xiaozhi, right? Why are even female Pokémon getting involved now? For the first time, Serena felt like biting a handkerchief. In the previous review, Xiaozhi frequently faced off against the powerful rival and survived many dangerous situations. Serena kept praying for Xiaozhi that no more accidents would happen. It's fine now. Xiaozhi didn't have an accident anymore, it was her accident. The rival competing for Xiaozhi. There is one more. Sinnoh region Twinleaf town. Dawn is currently watching the inventory video with her mother Johanna. Because her mother was by her side, Dawn looked at the scene on the screen with an expression on her face that she had seen a beautiful scene. Actually, Xiaozhi is too carefree. Even if he attracts a bunch of Stephanies, why are there Pokémon? No. Why should I care about this? Xiaozhi is not mine, at best. We just traveled together, no problem, no problem. Alola region. Lily frowned slightly as she looked at the scene on the screen. She couldn't tell what it felt like. After a series of reviews, Xiaozhi is strong, brave, not afraid of difficulties, sacrifices his life for Pokémon, etc. It really moved her, and she even had a crush on Xiaozhi. But, it shouldn't be to that extent, right? She is from Alola Academy. Alola's blooming ice flower is very popular in the whole academy. Like Xiaozhi and so on. Let's talk about it in 10 years. For space reasons, I won't list other people's reactions one by one. Misty, May, everyone's reaction can be thought of in your mind. As for Alice, I think she should not. What reaction would there be? It was actually Mega Wooden Man number 2. In the image, the girl Latios is standing on the swing, and Xiaozhi is sitting on it. The girl was wearing a white short skirt, which almost stuck to the back of Xiaozhi's head. As long as Xiaozhi lowers his head a little, he will probably be able to see something extraordinary. But, if Xiaozhi would be like this, he would no longer be Xiaozhi. Backquote hey. Really? Well. Grandpa just called you Latios. Isn't Latios the name of Pokémon? Also, why do you look so much like that Stephanie named Canon? Xiaozhi turned his head and looked at the girl curiously. After swinging on the swing for 2 or 3 times, the girl's body emitted a burst of light particles. Then the body completely changed. It has almost the same appearance as Latios, but its body has turned red. At this time, Latios, who had lost her cover, was pushing the swing with her 2 red forelimbs. And her legs are actually floating contest condition. This is why the swing can keep swinging even though it has no power. That's because Latios is pushing Xiaozhi in the air. Seeing Latios back to his original state, Xiaozhi was so frightened that he fell off the swing. Upon seeing this, Latios quickly flew over and helped him up. I'm fine, thank you. Thank you. So, this is why Grandpa Gray calls you Latios? No wonder I said your hands don't feel like Mikey. Hua, hua. Latios saw that Xiaozhi didn't mean to exclude him, and happily kept circling around Xiaozhi, and made a happy growl. Ben Gray and Canon, who were not far away, saw all this. It seems that Latios really likes Xiaozhi. Ben Gray sighed, while Canon was a little confused. Latios is usually very timid. Apart from playing with me, she has almost no contact with humans. How could she like Xiaozhi so much? Haha, who knows, maybe. That boy has some special affinity. Pikachu nodded in agreement. Apart from anything else, Xiaozhi's affinity for Pokémon is absolutely amazing. Battle. Latios slowly landed next to Pikachu and shouted to him. Pikachu was obviously a little uncomfortable with Latios, who just attacked him, and couldn't help but take a step back. When Latios came in, Pikachu even closed his eyes, wondering what the other party wanted to do. Chapter 144. Latios. I have decided to follow Xiaozhi. Advertisement. When Pikachu thought Latios was trying to hit him. A soft feeling touched his cheek. Pikachu opened his eyes and looked. He found Latios using his tongue to clean up the dust from his fall. When watching the barrage, someone said, "This smell smells like lying.jpg, hilarious." Latios smiled at Pikachu and apologized for what he had just done. He thought they were intruders in the garden, but he didn't expect them to be friends brought back by his sister. Pick up. Pikachu didn't mind, he accepted Latios' apology with a smile. The two Pokémon instantly played together. Latios also came over to play with Pikachu. 3 Pokémon are flying freely in this dense jungle. Pikachu switches back and forth between Latios and Latios. It can be said that I thoroughly enjoyed the feeling of riding a mythical beast. Open black lens bracket will. I'm so envious, Pikachu can actually fly around on Latios and Latios, close black lens bracket. You Longdu. Why are you envious? Didn't Pikachu also ride Latios before? He also put Thunderbolt on Latios, close black lens bracket. Dandy. When you said that, I remembered, Xiaozhi should be the Latios who fought in the Sinnoh region, right? Close black lens bracket. Alder. I didn't expect that Chitaro had already met Latios in the Johto region. No wonder no one else was so surprised at the time. Close black lens bracket. Catalia. Do you think there is a possibility? Xiaozhi abducted Latios, and then after Latios tossed and turned, he discovered that Xiaozhi wanted to participate in the Lily of the Valley conference and join Dacto's camp. Snipe shot Xiaozhi. Stephen. Well said. If you can speak, speak more. I suggest you publish a book. I won't read it if you don't write it. Close black lens bracket. Diantha. Haha, just kidding, if that Latios was this one, Xiaozhi wouldn't have this expression at the beginning. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Look at this harmonious scene. This is the relationship between people and Pokémon. Wu Chi-Chi. Even the legendary Pokémon. Xiaozhi attracted the other party with his unique charm, and became friends with him. Friend. Close black lens bracket. Yu Longdu. I just don't know if the story will continue to develop in such a harmonious way. I'm actually very worried. Diantha. Although I really want to tell Lance to shut up, I'm actually quite worried. Has the camera following Xiaozhi discovered this paradise? Close black lens bracket. After being reminded by Diantha and Lance, many viewers remembered that those 2 female phantom thieves seem to have been monitoring Xiaozhi with cameras. If this paradise is discovered by them, I'm afraid something bad will happen. No. Not just the female phantom thief, now the secret garden of Water City is almost exposed to the eyes of the whole world. Now that everyone is watching the inventory, it's okay to say. What about when everyone has finished taking stock? Will those with evil intentions go to the secret garden of Water City? Will the 2 real-life female phantom thieves attack both red and blue water? There are too many hidden dangers, but in reality, you don't have to worry too much. The moment Yulongdu saw the secret garden, Alliance personnel have been dispatched to guard it. Wait until the inventory is over and then send an Elite 4 to guard it. It should be fine for a while. Odomare's secret garden, Red and Blue Water City, Ben Gray, and Cannon were all watching the images on the inventory. From the beginning of the inventory, they already felt that something was not right. After the secret garden of Water City was played, their expressions turned ugly. After all, almost no one except the 2 of them knows about the secret garden of Water City. Even if Xiaozhi in the video knew it, it would actually be nothing. But now the whole world knows it, facing countless evil-minded people around the world. How can they protect Latios and Latios? Who? Latios nuzzled Cannon, indicating that Cannon didn't need to worry. Her eyes were fixed on Xiaozhi on the screen. During this time, Cannon and Ben Gray were watching the inventory video in the secret garden. The purpose is naturally to let the Honglan Shuidu brothers and sisters pass the time. This also led to Latios becoming obsessed with Xiaozhi in advance. How could there be such a handsome trainer like Xiaozhi? He is willing to do whatever it takes for the sake of Pokémon, yet his own physique is extremely strong. After seeing her and Xiaozhi playing together in the video, Latios was even happier. As for the issues that QAnon and the others are worried about, Latios believes that the boy in the image will always find a way. After all, he is a young man who has repeatedly achieved miracles. He is also the young man she likes. In the image, Latios and Pikachu are playing. Cannon Bengray and Xiaozhi are walking in the garden. During this period, QAnon apologized to Xiaozhi for his rude behavior. And told Xiaozhi, they are the family that has protected Latios and Latios from generation to generation. Then Latios flew over and took away Xiaozhi's hat and started playing with Xiaozhi. After the fun, Latios' eyes suddenly glowed white. When Latios saw this, his eyes shone at the same time. Just when Xiaozhi didn't know what was happening, Latios shot out like an arrow. Advertisement: the speed comparable to that of a jet is vividly displayed. At the same time, the scene around Xiaozhi, Pikachu, and Cannon Bengray was distorted. The lush forest instantly became as normal as in the sea. Ben Gray told Xiaozhi that this is the exclusive skill of Latios and Latios. Dream reflection. Using this skill, you can share the vision of both parties. It is a practical and interesting skill. It seems that Latios and the others like you very much, Xiaozhi. Is this so? Xiaozhi looked at Latios and smiled. I like you too, Latios. Who? Sabrina. Vision. Sharing? It's similar to the vision sharing between me and the doll, but I haven't been able to use this skill on humans yet. If the next challenger loses, I'll take it. Let him experiment and see. Yu Longdu. Please don't say such horrible things so calmly. Who will dare to challenge the Saffron Gym in the future? But it's too late. Since Sabrina said these words, I'm afraid no one will come back to challenge the Saffron Gym. There are very few psychics in the world, under Sabrina's words. I also started to understand psychic skills other than confusion. Especially Catalia, a psychic who was almost at the same level as Sabrina. She was still dreaming about if she could learn this skill. Will Latios and Latios come to embrace me? Daydreaming is still necessary. Image 1. After a strange journey, Latios continued to play with Pikachu and Latios. Ben Gray and Cannon told Xiaozhi the legend about Odomer, and took Xiaozhi and Pikachu to see Aldomer's treasure, Soul Dew. Soul Dew is actually an extremely beautiful gem. The blue and transparent orb is comparable to the most precious jewelry in the world. It sparkles in the pool of the secret garden. At the same time, this is also the goal of the two Phantom Thief sisters. Ben Gray told Xiaozhi, Soul Dew is a tool brought by Latios and Latios to protect the Water City. To this end, their ancestors also invented a prop specifically for the Latios brothers and sisters to inspire Soul Dew. That's the tall prop in the Great Cathedral. I said before that I didn't know how to use props. Apparently it was used to fool the tourists, now that Xiaozhi has come to the secret garden. Ben Gray would no longer hide it from him. Xiaozhi, you have to promise me that you will never tell anyone what you saw today. Okay. I will never tell anyone else. Once a word is made, it's hard to follow up, now that Xiaozhi agreed. Then even Misty Xiaoging and Xiaozhi would not tell them. Water City Secret Garden. Ben Gray wiped the sweat from his forehead. Indeed, with Xiaozhi's personality, he probably wouldn't tell others once he agreed. But, now, this scene has been broadcast live all over the world. Oh my god. He actually told people all over the world the secret passed down from family to generation in the place where Soul Dew is stored. Should he consider moving now? In the image, seeing that it was getting late, Xiaozhi was about to say hello to Ben Gray and go back. As a result, Latios came forward, picked up Xiaozhi, and slowly flew up. Looking at the anxious look, it seems that I haven't played with Xiaozhi for a long time, and I can't wait. Hey, Latios, can you do it? Xiaozhi was trembling in midair, feeling. Latios was not flying very steadily. In fact, it was the same. Latios had a struggling expression on his face. In the end, I couldn't hold on any longer and gave up. Who? Latios rushed over and instantly caught Xiaozhi, who fell down. Then he was safely sent back to Ben Gray, who. Latios flew back from high altitude and kissed Xiaozhi intimately. Haha, okay, you have little arms and legs, you'd better stick to Pikachu from now on. Come and carry me when you grow up. Pikachu. Pikachu nodded, having almost scared him to death when he fell down just now. Who? Latios nodded and continued to rub Xiaozhi. It seems Latios wants to continue playing with you. Kanan looked at Latios' happy look with a smile. Advertisement. This kid really likes Xiaozhi. It's only been a day, but he's already so close. Even she took a long time to smooth out the relationship between them. Oh, I'm sorry, Latios, I'll come and play with you next time. It's getting late now, I have to go back to find my companions. If it were anyone else, there would be a mythical beast like Latios to play with. You can probably play for 3 days and 3 nights. But Xiaozhi, he still cares about his partners and is not tired of the old. Although I am a little reluctant to leave, it is time to separate. 0. Anyway, they will still play in the water for a few days, and then they can just come back and play with Latios. Hearing this, Latios showed an aggrieved expression, but still led Xiaozhi. Left with Pikachu. Catalia. Hi, Xiaozhi, you are such a straight man. Can you spend more time with Latios? Look at that expression. I feel so excited. Sabrina. As expected of you, Xiaozhi. Close black lens bracket, Diantha. What a cute Latios. It makes me want to own one, however, even if I find this Latios, I'm afraid she will already recognize Xiaozhi. 1. Will. Woohoo, I'm going to cry. Latios, go away. You're in love with a scumbag. Close black lens bracket. When all the super trainers saw this scene, they almost bit their lighters in sadness. However, Xiaozhi, the Orberg straight man, still left cruelly. Although from a practical point of view, Xiaozhi just went back to meet his friends. But, how could anyone see Latios' cute expression and be so determined to leave? Xiaozhi's heart is so strong, Damalanchi. Haha, it seems that Latios is really loved by psychic trainers, but this Latios doesn't seem to be fully developed. Close black lens bracket. Damalanchi pointedly pointed out the weakness of Latios now. After all, even if they are brother and sister, there shouldn't be much difference in body shape between the two. But this Latios is a whole circle smaller than Latios. And there is also a big difference in ability. Coupled with the fact that I was trapped by the small skills of Sun Pokémon and Ariados before, it can be concluded that this Latios' powers are not fully developed. No wonder it shows so much and has absolutely no power as a legendary Pokémon. Steven. I wonder why this Latios is so weak. It turns out it hasn't developed yet. Catalia. It's better if it's not developed. Raising legendary Pokémon is exciting just thinking about it. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Leah, don't even think about it. Latios probably belongs to Xiaozhi both inside and outside the video. Close black lens bracket. Catalia. That's not what you said. Maybe it's just that Latios has little experience. If he sees me, a beautiful girl psychic, maybe he will change his mind. QAnon. Well, Latios asked me to reply to her. She said that she has decided that she can travel with Xiaozhi at any time as long as Xiaozhi needs it. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Catalia. Close black lens bracket, isn't it, sir? Do you want to hit people like this? You, Latios, can still ask others to send messages when you can't speak. And Canon. She must be a painter, right? Isn't it true that only the selected trainer can send comments? At the same time, many poaching teams, Phantom Thieves, and even the Phantom Thieves sisters in the video have begun to set out in the world. Their target is of course Latios, and even Soul Dew. Considering how precious Soul Dew is, it can definitely be sold for a good price in this world. They can't wait for the inventory to be over, but Yulongdu, and even the people from Pokémon Alliance in 4.7 actually took action earlier than them. Now Odomer has been surrounded by layers of guards. If a thief without any skills dares to go there, he will only get caught. Image 1 after bidding farewell to Xiaozhi and others, in order not to make Latios sad, Latios. They continued to play in the garden with Latios. In a bush. A weird-shaped robot keeps all this in sight. This is the monitor of the Phantom Thieves. All viewers around the world were shocked. Just now, there was a scene of harmony and friendship between the two brothers Xiaozhi and Lati, coupled with the magical skill of dream reflection. The audience forgot for a moment. Xiaozhi was being followed contest condition. That weird robot camera never showed up, the audience thought they didn't follow. But now it seems. Latios and Latios are in danger. When Ben Gray took Xiaozhi out, it was already evening. Only then did Xiaozhi realize that the secret garden was built in Ben Gray's boat repair shop. The castle he saw turned out to be a repair shop? When the scene changed, Xiaozhi and QAnon were already on their way back in the boat. When returning, Xiaozhi accidentally mentioned the scene when he and Latios first met. You said, Latios is being chased? Yes, they're two women in weird costumes. That's it. Latios went out pretending to be me. Maybe those two women were looking for me. I'll be careful, thanks Xiaozhi. It's okay, then please pay attention to safety and contact me anytime if you have anything. Okay. The Phantom Thieves sisters currently watching. You brat, you don't know how to appreciate it. What a weird costume. That's sexy, sexy. This mouth is really annoying. Chapter 145. In the dark night, a boy and a girl hug each other. Advertisement. Xiaobing also had the same opinion as the two sisters. For Xiaobing, the clothes of the two sisters are just what he wants. But, even Xiaobing can't become lustful towards them now. Although Xiaobing is an SP, he is a principled ISP. When it comes to bad people, he naturally only feels indignation in his heart. In the image, the night was dark and windy, with a silvery moon in the sky. Xiaozhi, Misty and others have returned to the Pokémon Center rest. And because Ben Gray still had to repair the ship, even in the dark night. Still working by candlelight, at this time, an Espeon walked in. Ben Gray looked at Espeon's cute appearance and greeted her with a smile. What's wrong, little guy? Are you lost, Letty? In response to Ben Gray's friendly greeting, Espeon responded with a psychic. The red light lit up, and Ben Shaw fell down in the blink of an eye. At this time, two Phantom Thief sisters walked in slowly. After seeing Ben Gray fall, Sana murmured to herself. That's right. The guy who took the Psybeam attack in the morning and was unharmed is the reaction of the monster normal. So far Sana is a little shocked by Xiaozhi's performance in the morning. If her targets were not Soul Dew and Latios, I'm afraid she wants to grab Xiaozhi and study it. Come on, sister, go get the treasure, Latios, let's go. Someone is coming. There's something doggy, run quickly. Latios hasn't grown up yet. Damn, Latios doesn't know if he can beat them. It's over, the bad thing has come true. Watching the two Phantom Thief sisters slowly walk into the mysterious garden. The audience watching was very anxious. Normally they would have complained about Xiaozhi's physique. But now, I don't have that spare time at all, in image. As soon as Lian and Sana entered the secret garden, their movements were noticed by sleeping Latios. So Latios immediately took Latios and began to attack the two women who were plotting evil. However, whether it is Latios or Latios, none of them seem to be using skills. I don't know if they don't know skills. Or are they subconsciously saving a hand towards humans? Could it be that their personalities are too gentle? Without using skills, Latios and Latios couldn't do anything to them. On the contrary, thanks to their high technology, they were beaten back and forth one after another. In the end, in order to protect his sister, Latios was captured by the opponent's Thundershock capture net. The red electric light is constantly eroding Latios' body. A look of pain appeared on his face, but he still used his last strength to roar at Latios. Who? Even without a translator, everyone can tell what Latios means from his expression. Go quickly. Latios doesn't want to give up on his brother. However, when the opponent threw a catching net again, when her brother burst out with his last strength and stepped forward to help her block it, even if Latios was unwilling. Gotta leave too. If even she is caught, my brother will be completely hopeless. There is only one way to save her brother now, and that is, to find the boy she likes. With Latios' help, Latios successfully left the underground path of the river. Although the two sisters felt a little pity about this, it was not bad to catch one. And there's Soul Dew. Under Santa's violent demolition, Soul Dew was pulled out from the flowing water altar. There seems to be water flowing inside the blue-white orb. At night, it emits a faint and gentle light, looks extremely beautiful. Oolongdu. Tisk, these two bastards succeeded after all. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket will. Xiaozhi was so careless that he didn't even know he was being followed by a robot. Close black lens bracket. Diantha. Isn't that right, sir? Can Xiaozhi be blamed for this? Is it still wrong for Xiaozhi to save people? Close black lens bracket. Oolongdu. This has almost nothing to do with Xiaozhi, right? Those two women were keeping an eye on Latios and Latios. As long as Latios still appears in Odomare, it will be a matter of time before she is followed. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Not only that, Xiaozhi was targeted at the beginning because he was trying to rescue Latios. However, if Xiaozhi hadn't taken action, with Latios' strength, he might have been caught at that time. Will. Sorry, I was the first to think. I'm sorry Xiaozhi. Close black lens bracket. Will also realized that he had caused some trouble to the fish pond. Do you think this matter has something to do with Xiaozhi? Of course it does, but if it weren't for Xiaozhi saving Latios, he wouldn't be implicated at all. Advertisements are the culprits. No matter how you look at it, they are all the Phantom Thieves sisters. Because it is natural for bad people to do bad things. So when something bad happens, people will always subconsciously blame good people for their mistakes. But compared with what bad people do, the mistakes made by good people are nothing. Will was also confused for a moment, so he subconsciously blamed Xiaozhi. However, after being reminded by Cynthia and Lance, he also reacted. This mistake, no matter how you look at it, it has nothing to do with Xiaozhi. Because he blamed Xiaozhi for his preconceived notions, Will also apologized to Xiaozhi. Xiaozhi. It's okay Mr. Will, I believe. Latios and Latios will be fine. Close black lens bracket. Just a quick aside, when I watched the barrage, many people were saying, you were the one who introduced the Japs into the village. There were also many people who blamed Xiaozhi. What the hell, now you have to be blamed for doing good deeds, right? If it weren't for Xiaozhi's help, Latios would have been caught at the beginning. Can you blame Xiaozhi? Image 1. After the Phantom Thieves got Soul Dew, they didn't run away and sell it for money as the audience thought. Instead, he began to study the stone slabs on the ground of the secret garden. It turns out that the stone slab is a puzzle piece, which records how to use the devices in the cathedral. But there is a note next to the slate. When someone with evil intentions uses Soul Dew will be contaminated by evil and dirty power, and the entire island will sink with it. The so-called legends are all bluffing. They just want to trick us into not using this power, and are our hearts very dirty? Haha, our hearts are so beautiful. The Kaido sisters didn't take these words to heart at all. They all wanted to give it a try, the so-called terrifying power that can protect the island. Open black lens bracket Will. I'm so convinced by these two idiots. Close black lens bracket. Karen. What kind of brain? Believe selectively, right? Believe that the legendary Soul Dew has the terrifying power to protect the island, but don't believe that the evil mind will pollute the Soul Dew. Close black lens bracket. Diantha. Isn't the most disgusting thing about what they call beautiful souls? How can their souls with a normal and ugly appearance be said to be beautiful? Close black lens bracket. Xiaogang. Miss Diantha is right. People with filthy hearts are also filthy in appearance. These two women have no sight at all. Close black lens bracket. Professor Oak's laboratory backyard. Xiaogang. That's not what you said when you saw these two women just now. Misty said teasingly. Although I like Big Sister, a villain like this is not worthy of the term Big Sister. Xiaogang's unswerving look made Qihong change his mind slightly. So, under normal circumstances, Xiaogang in this world is almost as reliable as Xiaogang in other worlds. Image 1. When the two thieves left the secret garden, Ben Gray and Cannon arrived. They looked shocked when they discovered that mystic water was missing, and Latios and Latios were also missing. Something bad is going to happen. On the other side, two female Phantom Thieves and their Pokémon dragged the unconscious Latios to the Great Cathedral. Latios is placed on the platform next to the device. Later, the device driver Latios also floated into the air and was confined within the barrier. This device was originally used to protect the city from any enemy attack, but now, it has become a tool for these two people to play. Cannon and Ben Gray rushed to the Great Cathedral, but were knocked unconscious by the Sun Pokemon's psychic move. Espeon's strength is clearly demonstrated, except for Xiaozhi, no one can stop her psychic. It's not that others are too weak, but that Xiaozhi is too strong. After tying Ben Gray and Xanon to the spiderweb, Santa put Soul Dew on the device and the device started to operate. At the same time, Latios also stumbled into the city of Odomare. She is coming to find Xiaozhi. Relying on the intuition of fantasy beasts, Latios finally found Xiaozhi at the Pokemon Center. At this time, Xiaozhi, Misty and Xiaogang were already asleep. But Pikachu felt something, a die, keenly, or maybe it was the feeling between divine beasts.jpg. Pikachu climbed up from Xiaozhi, then looked at the window sill. Dots of starlight gathered in front of him, and finally turned into a humanoid Stephanie. Pick up. Pikachu's shout also woke up Xiaozhi. He sat up sleepily, rubbed his eyes and asked Pikachu. What's wrong, Pikachu? When he fully opened his eyes, a slim girl appeared in front of him. The light of the full moon shines, making the girl look quite holy. But all Xiaozhi cares about is, Kanan, why are you here? What happened? Xiaozhi got out of bed and ran to the girl Latios. Latios hugged Xiaozhi without saying a word. Xiaozhi was stunned for a while and then showed a puzzled expression. This touch, are you Latios? The girl Latios nodded slightly. Open black lens bracket Diantha. Oh, this scene is so loving. The boy and the girl hug each other. The girl prays to the boy, close black lens bracket. Catalia. Woohoo, lovely Latios, I want it so much, close black lens bracket. Steven. Enough is enough. Now is not the time. The situation is an unprecedented crisis, close black lens bracket. Yulongdu. It doesn't matter, Xiaozhi will take action, he will definitely save Latios, close black lens bracket. Advertisement, Diantha. Cover Lance's mouth and stab him. Wickstrom. Cover Lance's mouth and stab him. Day. Cover Lance's mouth and stab him, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Yulongdu. ### You guys are simply seeing the sun in the middle of the night, outrageous. I haven't co-authored it yet, you can make a positive prediction, right? All joking aside, everyone actually knows that when Latios found Xiaozhi, the matter will probably be resolved. This boy always has magical powers and can do almost impossible things. It's just that this story was originally a harmonious, friendly, relaxed and lively story. However, it seems that the current development is starting to move towards the story that was previously reviewed. Isn't there a story with harmony all the way to the end? Hello, no one would watch it without the villain.jpg. In the image, Xiaozhi turned on the lights in the room and Misty, who was already up, introduced Latios. Xiaogang, who looked ambiguous, and Misty, who looked hostile, were stunned at the same time. What is Latios Xiaozhi talking about? Could it be that he was hugged by the lovely Stephanie and started to lose his mind? Then, the girl Latios changed back to her original appearance in front of the two of them. Xiaogang was so frightened that his stool moved back dozens of centimeters, and Misty was so frightened that she almost threw Togepi out. It turns out, Xiaozhi didn't lie to them. Is this Stephanie really Latios? The tension in Misty's heart gradually eased. Why was she jealous of Pokémon? At the same time, Latios in the Great Cathedral finally came over under the shouts of Kanan and Ben Gray. However, despite his constant tackle, he could not break out of the nodule, but he sensed the location of Latios. So I started the dream projection directly and shared the current scene with Latios. Just as they were about to ask Latios what was going on, Xiaozhi and his group were directly pulled into Latios's perspective. Then they saw QAnon and Ben Gray, who were trapped in the Great Cathedral. And the two female thieves and the trapped Latios. The most important thing is the Soul Dew mounted on that huge device. As the younger sister, Leanne sat on the huge device, and then controlled the device, resurrecting Kabutops and Aerodactyl. Leanne commanded them to capture Latios. She controls the device and can control the entire Altomari. This device was originally used to protect the people, but now, it has fallen into the hands of such disgusting people. Yulongdu. What a powerful device, it can actually resurrect Aerodactyl, and the size of that Aerodactyl is not much better than my Aerodactyl. Lance also has a resurrected Aerodactyl in his hand. It's also one of the trump cards he holds. Its body size is much larger than the normal fossil Aerodactyl. In ancient times, bigness meant strength, and the Aerodactyl that is now resurrected by the device looks to have terrifying strength. I wonder if Xiaozhi and others can be safe and sound. Dandy. Xiaozhi and the others are in big trouble. Catalia. Are you making an enemy of the entire city? Xiaozhi's journey is always troubled, close black lens bracket. Cynthia. If you gain something, you will give something. If Xiaozhi can protect this city, he will definitely gain the permanent friendship between Latios and the Latios family, close black lens bracket. Diantha. That's right. I hope Xiaozhi is safe and sound. Under the worried eyes of the audience, the image continues. The dream projection ended soon. Neither Latios nor Latios can maintain such a long distance and long-term projection. Misty couldn't help but ask Xiaozhi, Xiaozhi, what's going on? I don't know, but there must be big trouble. We have to rescue Latios quickly. At the same time, the rocket trio just came out of the canal. At the beginning, they originally wanted to follow the two sisters to search for treasures. As a result, I fell directly into the river because of my lack of agility. Climb out now. However, after they finally climbed out, they were suddenly locked in a corridor. All exits from the aisles, suddenly a densely packed fence appeared. At most, I can only stretch out one hand. They just escaped from the canal and came to another prison. What a bad luck. Xiaozhi Misty's house also began to have dense fences. This is a protective device made to protect the city. But now it has become a prison to lock them in the house. Upon seeing this, Xiaozhi quickly flew out of the window and jumped onto the canal below. Then even the window where the Pokémon Center is located was blocked by countless bars. Misty and Xiaoging are both locked inside. Misty, Xiaoging. Xiaozhi. I can't get out of this fence. It doesn't matter, I'll just go. I will definitely rescue everyone. Chapter 146. Disgusting Villain. Latios and Xiaozhi go both ways. Advertisement because the thief sister Lian controls the entire city. So Misty Xiaoging was isolated in the Pokémon Center and couldn't come out. In the end, only Xiaozhi, Pikachu and Latios escaped. Even though Xiaozhi is the only one, he still wants to rescue everyone. As for whether it can be successful, you have to do it first before you know. Open black lens bracket Yulongdu. Xiaozhi takes action. Close black lens bracket, Steven. Mega's real rookie will take action, and he will surely be captured. Close black lens bracket. Emperor Dan. Is this the mission sent by God to Xiaozhi? Even if the entire city is closed, there is no way to lock Xiaozhi. Close black lens bracket. Diantha. Xiaozhi must be decisive enough. Jump into the river directly. Xiaozhi rushes, close black lens bracket. Day. Let me ask you weakly, no one thinks that the three rockets are miserable, they seem to have accomplished nothing in this review, and they were even charged twice. Dianji. When you say that, it seems true. The special plan is to miss 2 meals. This is worse than them being beaten away. The champions are concerned about Xiaozhi, thinking that if Xiaozhi takes action, they should be able to rescue Latios. Some elites also feel that the rockets are too sad. Even if there is no highlight in the whole inventory, I am still feeling deflated. But the protagonist of this scene is destined to be Xiaozhi. In the image, Xiaozhi found a small boat and started to go to the great cathedral under the leadership of Latios. After all, this place is complicated, and it would be really difficult to get through it without someone to guide you. But at this moment, an uninvited guest came from the sky. Gray body, eyes without pupils, purple dual wingbeat, sharp claws, and jagged teeth. Ancient fossil Pokémon, Aerodactyl. He's come to capture Latios. As Aerodactyl approached rapidly, Xiaozhi keenly noticed something. Lower your head quickly. The 2 claws on Aerodactyl's feet flew over Xiaozhi's head with a slight difference. If Xiaozhi were any slower, he would have shot him in the head. But Xiaozhi used his sharp skills to dodge Aerodactyl, but Latios didn't have such sharp reactions. When she looked back, Aerodactyl's feet had grabbed her body hard. This comparison shows that Aerodactyl is almost twice the size of Latios. Now Latios is caught like a chicken. Xiaozhi shouted loudly when he saw this. Put her down. Take 3 steps and do 2 steps, then splash high on the bow of the boat. Mega Rookie once again showed the audience what it means to fly. Xiaozhi jumped several meters high, then grabbed Aerodactyl's wings. Although Aerodactyl has huge power, someone suddenly grabbed his wings, and flying's height saved him. At this height, Thunderbolt can touch it. Pikachu, 10 volt. Latios and Xiaozhi are both on Aerodactyl. If there is electricity, both of them will definitely be shocked. However, Pikachu believed in Xiaozhi very much, the moment Xiaozhi gave the order. A huge golden light flashed across the night. It hit Aerodactyl directly. Roar. Hit by Thunderbolt, even though Aerodactyl is a resurrected lifeless species. But the hit of the double restrained electric skill directly consumed a large amount of his energy. He even asked him to let go of Latios, who fell directly into the water. Xiaozhi was also affected by Thunderbolt and involuntarily let go of his hand and fell into the water. But for him, who has been attacked by Thunderbolt all year round, this is nothing more than a trivial matter. He quickly swam up from the bottom of the water, but Latios was so frightened that he turned invisible and jumped. The audience was very excited after seeing this scene. What are you doing? Brother Xiaozhi saved Latios, and Latios ran away. Haha, it's a Pokémon after all, and it doesn't know how to be grateful at all. Don't say that about Latios. Her size looks like she has just passed her infancy. It can be seen from how playful she usually is. It is natural that she would run away when Astonish is suddenly attacked. There were also people who said good things for Latios, but they were quickly suppressed. Not everyone is a rational fan. Their eyes only see Latios asking Xiaozhi for help. After Xiaozhi helped Latios encounter a crisis, Latios abandoned Xiaozhi and left. However, the following scene quickly slapped these people in the face. In the image, after Latios escaped, Aerodactyl, who lost his target, naturally poured rage on Xiaozhi. A golden pillar of destruction erupted from the sky. This is the ultimate trick of the normal system, Hyper Beam. The golden beam of light swept across the boat where Pikachu was standing, smashing the boat into pieces. Pikachu was forced into the water. Moreover, the destructive energy swept across the long canal. Xiaozhi barely managed to avoid being hit directly. But the powerful light beam directly set off a huge wave in the river. Xiaozhi dodged the hyper beam, but was unable to avoid the waves of the canal. He was swept directly under the water by the rough river water. Advertisement: the rolling river made Xiaozhi lose control of his body and even choked on several mouthfuls of river water. In the end, Xiaozhi sank powerlessly to the bottom of the river. Latios, who was hiding aside, saw this and instantly suppressed his inner fear. At the normal speed of a jet, he set off a hurricane and flew into the water, holding Xiaozhi in his arms. After Latios surfaced and shook Xiaozhi, Xiaozhi coughed up some water and slowly poured smelling salts over. "Thank you for saving me, Latios." "Who?" Latios shook his head, as if to say, "You should be the one who saved me." What a slap in the face. Where is the person who just called Latios ungrateful? No way, right? No one starts barking before they finish reading, right? A slap in the face comes too fast like a twister. Did you see that? Even though Latios was timid and scared, he rushed out without hesitation when he saw Xiaozhi in danger. Just like Xiaozhi protected Latios. What is love that goes both ways? This is love that goes both ways. Latios's behavior emboldened those who liked her and defended her. Make a loud noise on the Tiandao forum, and those who were still condemning Latios just now have become silent. As the saying goes, a slap in the face comes too fast like a twister. In the image, Latios held Xiaozhi and slowly flew at low altitude. She also tried holding Xiaozhi flying in the secret garden before. But with her strength, it seems that she cannot fly with Xiaozhi. Now she can fly at low altitude. It was because of the buoyancy of the river that I was able to pick up Xiaozhi. It's just not possible to continue like this. The speed of Latios holding Xiaozhi flying like this is really too slow. The side effects of Aerodactyl destroying the death ray are almost gone. They will catch up soon. Suddenly, Xiaozhi saw a prop and shouted to Latios. "Wait, Latios, use that." "Who?" Latios looked over in confusion and found on the shore the spherical pedal used by Xiaozhi's water racing team. If only there was this. As soon as the scene changed, Latios was already pulling Xiaozhi on the water at high speed. The extremely fast speed gave Xiaozhi a feeling of déjà vu. It seems, I have experienced such speed before. But now that the situation is urgent, we don't have time to think so much. Latios took Xiaozhi to turn left and right, and finally came to a relatively narrow river. Aerodactyl couldn't get through it because of its huge size, and hit the house directly. Finally got rid of it. Just when Xiaozhi was muttering like this, things changed suddenly. A Pokémon with a brown shell and two sharp sides on its hands suddenly appeared next to Xiaozhi. This is another fossil Pokémon that was resurrected, Kabutops. This Kabutops is also much larger than the normal Kabutops. At this critical moment, the screen suddenly cuts to the perspectives of Misty and Xiaoging. They were also locked inside the iron fence. It's still a bit troublesome to go out. And all of Xiaozhi's Pokémon have stayed with them. Helpless, they can only send out Crobat, which can fly in soaring in the sky. Bullfrog and Corsola, who can swim in water, went to support Xiaozhi first. As for how to find Xiaozhi, it won't be a big problem if Crobat is there. Professor Oak's laboratory backyard. Misty was stunned when she saw that she had Bullfrog. Since there is a Bullfrog, it means that I had a mosquito-repellent frog before. But, why not let him evolve into a fast-swimming frog? Fast-swimming frogs are obviously more handsome. But, Bullfrog is actually quite cute. No, what is she thinking? Now Xiaozhi is in crisis. She is actually still thinking about the Pokémon she will have in the future. In the image, Xiaozhi is constantly chased by Kabutops. Although Kabutops cannot flying, his speed on the ground is no slower than flying. Even the movements are more flexible. Pikachu's Thunderbolt is hard to hit. Xiaozhi was pressed closely by Kabutops, and Latios could only increase his speed by 1 level. But if you increase your speed in these narrow places, Xiaozhi will be thrown out as soon as you reach the turning corner. Xiaozhi was thrown out and was immediately chased by Kabutops. Just when Kabutops was about to attack Xiaozhi, a unique sound wave came. Kabutops' move was directly stopped, and a powerful water column burst out, hitting Kabutops. Knocked Kabutops into the walls of surrounding houses. Advertisement: Xiaozhi looked around and found that the purple Crobat was slowly falling in the starry soaring in the sky. In the river, Sun Mountain Lake and Bullfrog King also appeared. Everyone, did Misty Xiaoging ask you to help me? Scared. Who? Quack. Thank you everyone, I'll excuse you Kabutops, Latios and I will continue to the Great Cathedral. With that said, Xiaozhi continued to let Latios pull him and set sail. If you take the water route, it will undoubtedly be faster. However, after such a long chase, Lian, who was sitting in the special device, had already locked Xiaozhi's position. She began to control the water flow around the city, prepared to trap Xiaozhi directly with the water flow. Ben Gray dissuaded him nervously. Stop it, if people with evil intentions continue to. Using Soul Dew will cause irreversible consequences. Haha, It's useless to try to scare me. Lian didn't pay attention to these words at all, but what she didn't know was that the bright and transparent soul dew just now has begun to slowly become dirty. Latios and Xiaozhi were galloping in the river. Suddenly, a huge dragon circle appeared in front of them. Upon seeing this, Xiaozhi hurriedly asked Latios to take him ashore. But the tornado followed them all the way to the shore. This is the power used to protect the city. With the speed of Xiaozhi and Latios, there is no way they can run away from those currents. Just when they were about to arrive at the great cathedral, Xiaozhi and Latios were still surrounded by water. The majestic water instantly submerged the two Pokémon and Xiaozhi inside. The terrifying water source turned into a ball, locking them tightly. Moreover, the water inside the ball is still rolling and raging, wearing down the physical strength of Xiaozhi and the two Pokémon. Xiaozhi and Pikachu were struggling and almost suffocating. This Lian is not just a normal phantom thief. Instead, he turns a deaf ear to the lives of humans and Pokémon and is a ruthless phantom thief. Yulongdu. This woman is so ruthless. Close black lens bracket, Diantha. Is this the world's civilized phantom thief? Haha, this is not the normal phantom thief. Its cruelty is already comparable to that of the normal Pokémon hunter, close black lens bracket. Steven. This woman has no respect for life at all. Everything, including what she is doing now, is just fun to her. It seems that she has been. My education is not good, if it weren't for being a champion and being a noble son of the Hoenn region. Steven had already begun to curse. This kind of person can no longer be described as uneducated. He is simply worse than a pig or a dog. The Kaido sisters naturally took Steven's words into consideration. Naturally, they didn't feel that they had done anything wrong. Was this just a game? In their opinion, Steven's words were so disrespectful to ladies. But, even if they want to refute, they are not qualified to refute. Because they can't speak on the barrage list, it seems that even Tiandao inventory thinks they are such scumbags and normal guys, they don't deserve to speak at all. In the image, just when Xiaozhi was about to suffocate and lose consciousness, Latios looked at Xiaozhi with a firm expression and a dazzling light in his eyes. A majestic force burst out from her body. The terrifying energy formed a ball and directly dispersed the water flow surrounding Xiaozhi. That look is like Latios' exclusive skill, thin sack ball. After Yas broke out, Lian's screen was shattered. The woman sitting in the cockpit looked confused. She didn't know what happened just now. What's the deal with the terrifying energy in Latios? Before she could think about it, the cockpit door with a slight gap in it suddenly closed, and then began to spin crazily. And Soul Dew on the side has become completely dirty. Sana, who was watching in the audience, was also a little confused. What happened? Catalia. You deserve it. See, this is the true power of Latios, close black lens bracket. Will. It seems that thinking about Xiaozhi made Latios unleash her potential abilities in advance, close black lens bracket. Sabrina. Did Xiaozhi and Latios, who was not conquered, also form a strong bond, close black lens bracket? Cynthia. Haha, this is Xiaozhi. With a heart that thinks about Pokémon, he can become friends with any Pokémon in the world and form an unbreakable bond, close black lens bracket. Dandy. I admit that I am not as good as Xiaozhi on this point. This is a special power that only belongs to Xiaozhi, a power generated by the bond with Pokémon, close black lens bracket. Yu Longdu. Speaking of which, this machine went berserk. Although I'm happy that B*********** D woman was trapped in it. Latios is already scarred now, close black lens bracket. Diantha. Huh, two bastards, in the end it's Xiaozhi who will clean up the mess, close black lens bracket. Alder. I believe Xiaozhi can definitely rescue Latios. As long as Latios is brought out, this machine's rampage should be stopped, right? Close black lens bracket. While many champions were gloating, they were also worried about Latios' health. Because of the crazy squeezing strength, plus the injuries on his body. Latios' body is already pineapple-like. Xiaozhi, we must rescue him quickly. Like Zhongyi after Latios exploded with strength beyond his own, he fell powerlessly from the sky. Chapter 147. Lance's unique poisonous milk caused a tsunami. Advertisement in the image, after Latios burst out with great power. Falling from the sky because of overdraft, Xiaozhi quickly stepped forward to check on Latios. As a result, Latios came over with smelling salts after a while. And the smile spread out, flying around Xiaozhi. She was happy that Xiaozhi was okay. Thanks Latios, let's go and rescue your brother. With that said, Xiaozhi rushed into the church ahead with Latios. What comes into view is a machine overflowing with energy, as well as Zan Na and two Pokémon who are in a daze. Sana heard the movement behind her and turned around to find that Xiaozhi had already arrived at this place. He quickly wanted to command the Sun Pokémon to attack it. However, Xiaozhi struck first and let Pikachu use Thunderbolt to directly electrocute the two Pokémon in Sana. Immediately afterwards, Xiaozhi ran to Ben Gray and Qianan who were tied up. Let Pikachu help rescue the two of them. Latios looked at the trapped Latios worriedly and wanted to get closer to him. But the knots surrounding the circular device that trapped Latios bounced away. This is a barrier created by Soul Dew extracting Latios' power. It was originally used to protect Latios from being disturbed. But now, it has become their biggest obstacle to saving Latios. After being forcibly drained of energy one after another, Latios' power is almost drying up. His body is also covered with scars because he is constantly fighting against this device. Mr. Ben Gray, why can this device that protects the city forcibly extract Latios' power without his will? Even Latios himself can't do it if he wants to. Isn't this a device used to protect? Ben Gray once described the function of this device to Xiaozhi. It is a device used to protect the city, but why? It can be used without Latios' will. Forcefully extract Latios' power, and even trap Latios in Yanqi. This may be because someone with evil intentions is using Soul Dew. Let's rescue Latios quickly. The device is close to going berserk. At this time, the rotation speed of the device becomes even faster. The surrounding energy continues to explode. White energy lightning forms all around the device. At this time, Sana finally felt that something was wrong. They seem to be in big trouble. Smelly woman, do you realize now that you got into trouble? These two people are really heartless, JB. I declare that these are the villains I hate the most. That's right, these two are even more disgusting than Giovanni. Although the Giovanni in the origin world is a villain, he has the charm and courage of a villain. 517 and the Giovanni in this world has become notorious in the inventory of the Storm. Threatening Mewtwo's friends, going back on his word and planning to kill Mewtwo directly, etc. It's really disgusting, and now, another villain has done something comparable to Giovanni. The most irritating thing is that until now, these two female phantom thieves. He has always regarded squeezing Latios' power, wantonly destroying the city, and arresting Xiaozhi as a matter of fun. Those who don't know are not guilty. Bullshit. They're just like the naughty kids normal who went to relatives' houses to destroy other people's Gundam models when they were young. Not guilty. Death penalty. In the image, due to the device's rampage, Latios' power was further squeezed, and a very painful look appeared on his face. Latios keeps trying to get close to Latios, but it was bounced away by the energy barrier. Xiaozhi, save Latios. He will die if this continues. Kanan was a little confused and subconsciously asked Xiaozhi for help. Xiaozhi's eyes narrowed and he was about to turn his hat back, but he found that he didn't have it on. No big deal. Pikachu, Thunderbolt, Pikachu. Golden light gushed out from Pikachu's body, turning into a powerful bolt of lightning and hitting the circular device hard. Electric light wraps around the circular device. In the end, it bounced back. Xiaozhi and Pikachu quickly got out of the way. Thunderbolt. Doesn't work. Damn it. In this case, I have to rescue Latios even if I have to force it. Saying this, Xiaozhi slightly stockpiled, and then rushed out normally like an arrow from a string. This move surprised the audience. No. Xiaozhi. What do you want to do? You're not going to perform that again, are you? Boom. The high-pitched tackle sound resounded throughout the great cathedral, and Xiaozhi actually began to tackle the circular device with his own flesh and blood. Kanan, Ben Gray and Sana were all dumbfounded. When have they ever seen this done? When Thunderbolt is useless, you actually want to use your body to tackle? How stupid is that? But soon Sana remembered Xiaozhi's inhuman and normal physique at the beginning. With everyone defeated by Espeon's Psybeam and Psychic. When Xiaozhi was hit by Psybeam, he just shook his head and his body shook slightly. Advertisement. It can be said that it has the physique of a monster. Boom. The tackle sound sounded again, and Pikachu and Latios also started to use physical tackle following Xiaozhi. The three, a day, kept bumping into each other and being bounced away. As a result, the energy flowing around the device actually became weaker. This is really useful, Bruno. No matter how many times I watch it, I always want to sigh. Mega is really rookie. Close black lens bracket. Lian Wu. How did you say that? You said you should be more educated. I should say that Mega is really rookie, so powerful and domineering. Lorelei. You're not much better. Close black lens bracket. Yulongdu. Xiaozhi's attack is effective. If this continues, it won't be a problem to rescue Latios. The incident should be over here. Close black lens bracket. Diantha. I won't make any comments. Close black lens bracket open black lens bracket Yulongdu. Close black lens bracket. Post it. I couldn't help but make another prediction. But, it shouldn't be the case, right? Even if he is a bit poisonous. He has a tendency to predict things in the opposite direction. But it doesn't mean we can predict everything backwards. Indeed, Lance's reverse prediction does not take effect all the time. The time it takes effect is the critical moment. In the image, under successive tackles, the device controlling Latios became a little slower. Latios screamed and unleashed all his strength. The shining white light enveloped it, and then the body slammed into it. Kakakaka. Boom. Under the burst of energy from Latios, the barrier controlling Latios was finally broken. The constantly rotating ball device was also jammed by Latios' neck. Seeing this, Xiaozhi, Kanan and others quickly pulled Latios out of the device. After bringing Latios out, Xiaozhi also pulled Latios back. Finally Latios is saved. After Latios came down, the rampaging device also stopped because it lost its power. Latios kept chirping in front of the dying Latios. Latios heard Latios's call, reluctantly opened his eyes, and smiled at Latios. Although the injury was a bit serious, he was finally safe. Xiaozhi, are you okay? At this time, Misty and Xiaobing also ran to the Great Temple. The iron fence outside did not stop when the device stopped, Xiaozhi. But they themselves climbed out of the wall. Fortunately, Latios has come out. We have to take Latios to the Pokémon Center quickly. Going right now. Sana looked at the harmonious scene and smiled helplessly. As for Latios, forget it, the original purpose of this time was Soul Dew. And it would be troublesome to capture Latios under the noses of so many people. With this thought in mind, Sana jumped on the device and shook Lian awake. What's the situation now? You have gone too far, Lian. As punishment, Soul Dew, I will confiscate it. 708. Lian reluctantly agreed. Diantha. What a shameless guy. You haven't confiscated Soul Dew yet? Is Soul Dew yours? Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. These two women have such a disinterested attitude, it's really disgusting. Do they really know what they did? They almost killed Xiaozhi and Latios, and even Odomare made a mess, but he doesn't feel any remorse at all. Close black lens bracket. Yu Longdu. Huh? Any crime will eventually be brought to justice. These two people will not end well in the video or in reality, but... At the Galar Hotel, Yu Longdu had a smile on his lips and typed in a happy mood. Yu Longdu. I am not poisonous this time, am I? Look, the matter was resolved smoothly. Xiaozhi rescued Latios, and the rampaging device stopped. Close black lens bracket. Diantha. Haha, it is really a happy thing that your Thundermilk fails at this time. However, Lance's smile suddenly stopped, in the image. While Xiaozhi and others were checking Latios's injury, Sana took the opportunity to run to the device with Soul Dew on it. She was shocked when she saw Soul Dew. Hateful, what is this? Why has it become so ugly? I saw that Soul Dew, which was originally extremely pure and even flowed with water, had turned into an extremely black bead. Within the body of the bead, the dark power is constantly flowing. It makes people feel disgusting when they see it. Soul Dew has been tainted by Lian. This turbid and dark gem proves just how disgusting Lian's heart is. Sana's words were heard by Ben Gray. When he looked up, he found that Sana was about to pick up the Soul Dew. Don't touch it, Sana. Sana typed a question mark, and her fingertips happened to touch Soul Dew. A bad premonition arose in Sana's heart. The moment Sana touched Soul Dew, the terrifying black light exploded. Advertisement: the black light breeds extremely terrifying evil power. That's the power that comes from Soul Dew's impure heart. The next moment, Soul Dew, which was already extremely filthy, completely exploded. The huge impact knocked Sana into the cockpit, and Lian, who was about to come out, was also knocked into the cockpit. Then the cockpit merged, and the huge machine began to rotate crazily. If this scene happened under normal circumstances, the audience may laugh out loud, because the Kaido sisters look really embarrassed. But now, they really can't laugh. Image 1 read like lightning. Normal's light swirled around the machine and exploded. Something like a railing normal also rose around the huge machine, wrapping the machine. It seems to be the machine's self-protection. At this time, Ben Gray's face was very ugly, and he spoke with some difficulty. If someone with evil intentions uses Soul Dew, the dirty mind will pollute Soul Dew and lose Soul Dew, and even lose the island together. This sentence is the sentence in the Legend of Odomare, and it is also a sentence that the Kaido sisters do not take to heart. And now, they have paid the due price for not taking this sentence to heart. Why does this machine still work without Latios? Xiaozhi was a little confused. Hadn't Latios been rescued? Why can the machine still move? The role of Latios is to guide Soul Dew's power. Now that Soul Dew exploded, its remaining energy was also poured into this machine in one go. I'm afraid this power will destroy all the water. Ben Gray's words changed the expressions of Xiaozhi and others. Open black lens bracket Yulongdu. Close black lens bracket. It's true, brother, isn't everything over? How can a flip happen? What kind of Soul Dew does that broken blonde girl touch? It doesn't feel good if you don't cause trouble, right? If you see Soul Dew is so filthy, don't touch it, black filthy gem, you're going to FK me. Diantha. Lance. Your poisonous milk is so fierce, but I would rather your poisonous milk not take effect. Now I don't even have the mood to laugh at you. Yulongdu. You are already laughing at me now. Dandy. What will happen after the machine goes berserk? The entire island will be destroyed. What kind of power can destroy the entire Odomale? Could it be a natural disaster? Cynthia. Natural disaster, a second-level god with power above the priesthood, or a terrifyingly powerful bomb. I also think it is probably a natural disaster. There is an ocean around Odomare. If it is a natural disaster, then it's probably a tsunami. Audiences. If you think about it carefully, Cynthia's analysis does make sense. Aldomare was already surrounded by seawater, and Sana had previously controlled the seawater inside Aldomare. This also proves that this machine has the power to control seawater. So, after the machine goes berserk, will it cause a tsunami to flood the island? In the image, everyone came to the second floor of the Great Cathedral. When they looked at the entire Odamare, their faces showed unparalleled shock. The sea disappeared. Odamare is known as the capital of water. The entire city is covered by seawater all year round. No matter which path there is water flowing, but now, all the water on the entire island has disappeared. It's like the tide has gone out normal. A bad premonition arose in everyone's hearts. Latios and Latios looked at each other and began to rise rapidly upwards. Then they made 2 circles at the top of the cathedral and stood side by side. As phantom beasts and legendary Pokémon, they are sharper than Xiaozhi and others. Therefore, we are more aware of the coming crisis. Latios had a look of pain on his face, his floating body stagnated, and he almost fell. Fortunately, he suppressed the pain in his body with his strong will. Although Xiaozhi is not very sensitive to crises, he is very sensitive to the physical injuries of Pokémon. He turned and looked up at Latios and shouted, "Latios, are you okay? Let's go to the Pokémon Center first." Faced with Xiaozhi's concern, Latios shook his head. There is no time to restore him now. Rumble. The whole town began to shake, and huge noises came from far away. Xiaozhi turned around and saw an extremely terrifying huge wave sweeping over him. This is a tsunami. Big Doyle has turbulent waves, dark sky, roaring mountains and tsunami, which makes people feel frightened. The tsunami with a height of tens of meters directly plunged Xiaozhi and others into despair. This natural disaster is simply beyond the power of human power to withstand. However, in the face of this frightening and desperate tsunami, Latios and Latios seemed to have expected it. They looked at each other and then shot out normally like an arrow from a string. For this city, for their friends, they want to stop the tsunami. Chapter 148. The Demise of Latios, Everyone's Lament. Advertisement, Karen. What do Latios and his 2 siblings want to do? They don't want to stop the tsunami, do they? Will. How is it possible? Neither Latios nor Latios' power has grown. Latios was caught by the Kaido sisters' capture net, and Latios is even worse than Latios. They haven't even used their skills. How can they stop it? This terrifying tsunami. Catalia. Latios and Latios still have potential abilities. Latios has already exploded with a powerful force before, but that is potential ability after all. Now the 2 of them are facing this kind of natural disaster. Aren't you going to die? You Longdu. No. They can't stop this tsunami. Close black lens bracket, canon. When Odamare encounters a crisis, Latios and Latios will step forward. They will definitely save Odamare like the legend, close black lens bracket. Cynthia. That's right, little sister, you must believe in the power of legendary Pokémon, close black lens bracket. Diantha. It doesn't matter, Lance has already taken action, I will definitely block this wave for you to see, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Yulongdu. Close black lens bracket for the first time, Lance wanted his poisonous milk to take effect. In the image, seeing Latios and Latios speeding away, Xiaozhi and Qianan couldn't help but shout to them. Latios, come back quickly, Latios, don't go. But the 2 Pokémon that looked like fighter planes had already jumped half of the Ultramarine in the blink of an eye. Regardless of whether they heard what Xiaozhi and Qianan said, they all have to go. This is their duty and obligation, and also for their friends and partners. For this reason, they must not back down here. You must come back safely, Latios. Since we can't stop them, we can only pray for them. As the 2 Pokémon were galloping, their movements gradually became consistent. And the extremely bright light of 460 began to erupt from their bodies. It directly illuminates the day and night, illuminates the entire Odamare. The energy of Latios and Latios slowly merged together and finally turned into a white ball of light. A ball of light is like a drop in the ocean in front of a tsunami tens of meters high, unable to lift the gust wave at all. But when they came to the tsunami, the terrifying energy completely exploded. The white dawn ball directly transformed into a size of tens of meters, splitting the waves in 2. And its huge and gentle power is transmitted to all the surrounding waves. The wave slowly subsided under the power of these 2 Pokémon, and finally turned into water. Flowed back to Odamare. A crisis that destroyed the city has been resolved. Yulongdu. Turtle, is this the real power of Latios and Latios? They can even stop such a natural disaster. Close black lens bracket. Diantha. You must be a good breaster Lance. Haha, back to the topic. This power should contain huge superpower, which directly smoothed the waves. Close black lens bracket. Will. Do they still have such energy in their bodies? You know, Latios has been seriously injured. Close black lens bracket. Karen. Here's the question, if the 2 of them were so powerful, why were they defeated by the 2 sisters in the first place? Those 2 stinky women's Pokémon were only around the gym level. Why can you beat them? Cynthia. I think it should be related to their gentle nature. Whether facing Xiaozhi or the Thief Sisters, they have never used skills. Latios may not be able to control the power in the body, but Latios should be able to. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. The reason why Latios did not attack the sisters with his skills was probably because he was afraid that he would hurt them or accidentally kill them. However, their kindness was trampled on by the evil man Solacean. It's so ironic. Close black lens bracket. If it hadn't been for this huge tsunami natural disaster, no one would have known about it. It turns out that Latios and Latios can burst out such terrifying energy. This power, let alone the gym, even elite and champions, would be hard to resist. But when they were attacked or arrested, they never used such force. The only possibility is that they don't want to use such power against humans. Their ancestors were saved by humans, and they have a great affection for humans. Cannon, who has been playing with them, and Ben Gray, who has been accompanying them, are both kind-hearted humans. Even everyone in Shuidu is kind. This also leads to their kind and gentle nature. But this kindness has become their fatal flaw as long as they use skills and their own strength. There is absolutely no chance for the Phantom Thieves sisters to catch them, and they will even be beaten away directly. As the saying goes, if you are bullied, you will be ridden, and the same is true for Pokémon. But do you want to say that Latios and their kindness are wrong? Of course not. It's just that kindness also needs to be given to different objects. Scumbags like Sana and Leon don't deserve to be treated kindly. Dandy. I hope Latios and Latios will not be disappointed in humanity because of those two women. Professor Oak. If they were disappointed with humans, they wouldn't save Odomale. Cynthia. Yes. But, Cannon, you have to tell the little guy and the big guy that if they are in danger, don't take care of each other, but protect yourself first. Not everyone is worthy of them scruples. Xanon. Okay. I will convey it to them. Close black lens bracket in this way. What happened in the image should not happen in reality, right? After all, with the strength of Latios and Latios, even the champion will have a headache if they use full firepower. Not to mention the poachers. Many poachers have almost reached the gate of Shuidu City. As a result, after seeing the power of Latios and Latios, I was already thinking about whether to go home. Advertisement I thought it was 2 rookies, but I didn't expect, it was 2 nuclear bombs. Image 1 The tsunami has subsided and many currents have returned to Odomare. During this period, the rocket trio went to see the river that had lost its flow out of curiosity. As a result, when the water flowed back, they were unable to dodge and were directly swept away by the water flow. It really is today. That sucks, meow, what a disgusting feeling. 3. Sonesa. The 4 of them were rushed to an unknown place. What? You ask why there are 4, because there is also Wabafei. The audience watching couldn't help but laugh out loud. It can be said that the most hilarious part of this video is the unlucky Rockets trio. Their presence also added a bit of laughter to this serious scene. This is the cute and attractive villain that everyone thinks, he still has the charm of being a villain. Instead of taking the evil things they have done as a matter of course like the Phantom Thieves sisters. They don't even think of what they do as evil, they just think it's fun. At this time, the light ball was still shining in the distant sky, and the image switched into the inside of the light ball. Latios slowly opened his eyes, his smart eyes were blinking and he seemed to be in good condition. Just when the audience was breathing a sigh of relief, the next scene caused them to have a cardiopulmonary arrest. Latios felt something was wrong, looked to the side in confusion, and found that his brother turned into transparent blue. She asked her brother what was going on, but Latios didn't answer her. Instead, he stretched out his arm and touched Latios's arm. Then, a crisp sound sounded, and Latios understood everything instantly. Her brother is leaving. Latios had a look of grievance on his face. Is the brother who has been with her since she was born leaving her? From now on, will she no longer have a brother to pamper her, play with her, and protect her? Big tears flowed down Latios's clear eyes. She doesn't want her brother to leave. However, what Latios looks like now is his last strength. He put his hand on Latios' head and formed a doting smile on his lips. Forgive me, Latios, this is the last time I will accompany you. Immediately afterwards, Latios slowly rose into the sky, and the blue light on his body became more and more dazzling. Outside, on the white ball of light, a blue light rises into the sky. Dots of blue particles are scattered all over the Odomale. Odomare, who was thrown into a mess by Leanne, slowly returned to normal. The water flow returned to its original position, and the iron fences that had been controlled and closed all became the same. The 2 fossil Pokémon also returned to their original places. It was as if nothing had happened, except Latios, who disappeared. Open black lens bracket Yulongdu. Is it a lie? Close black lens bracket, Diantha. How could it be? Fake. It must be fake, right? Close black lens bracket. Steven. Will there be resurrection in the future? After all, Xiaozhi has also been resurrected twice, close black lens bracket. Bruno. Yes, maybe Ho-Oh will take action this time, after all, Johto region is the origin of Ho-Oh, close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Yes. Ho-Oh will definitely come. Close black lens bracket champion elite, and even the entire world's audience are praying. Praying for the arrival of Ho-Oh. Latios definitely wouldn't die like that, right? After all, every video ends with a happy end. There is no reason why such a cheerful image in the early stage should end in tragedy in the end, right? In the image, the screen switched to Xiaozhi and others. At this time, the sun was rising, and they took a small boat and went out to sea to find Latios and Latios who had never returned. As a result, overseas, they saw a Mantine and many water-type Pokémon floating on the sea surrounded by Latios. Mantine and other Pokémon seemed to know that Xiaozhi and others were looking for Latios. So they handed Latios to Xiaozhi and others and left directly. Under Xiaozhi's call, Latios slowly opened his eyes. Great, Latios, you're okay. By the way, where's Latios? Xiaozhi breathed a sigh of relief after seeing that Latios was okay, and then asked about Latios' whereabouts. When he saw Latios slowly shaking his head and looking at the sky, a heart sank to the bottom of the sea. Advertisement. What? What do you mean? Latios, what happened to him? Could it be? Xiaozhi was a little unbelievable. He didn't want to believe that his inner guess was true. Canon and Misty on the side also covered their mouths, their eyes full of sadness. Judging from Latios' behavior and the blue light reaching into the sky at night. Latios. Probably sacrificed, it seems. Latios sacrificed himself to protect the water. Ben Gray sat feebly on the boat, covering his face with one hand, his voice choked with sobs. The lifespan of legendary Pokémon is very long. Latios and Latios are actually still in their infancy. I can live another 300 to 500 years in the future. He didn't expect that one day, it would be him, Latios, who left. This can be regarded as a white-haired person giving a black-haired person. Those two bastards. Xiaozhi punched the wooden boat hard, and for the first time his eyes showed a look of great hatred. The bastards he was talking about were naturally the two villain sisters. If it weren't for them, this incident wouldn't have happened at all, even if it did happen. If Latios hadn't been so seriously injured, he would never have died. Latios is alive and well. Latios will die. No matter how you think about it, it's because of the serious injury and the explosion of too much energy. Just when everyone was sad and angry, Latios used dream projection. This is a skill used to share the sight of Latios and Latios. But Latios is no longer here. What line of sight does he share when using this skill? I saw the scene around Xiaozhi and others changing, and they slowly rose to soaring in the sky. Rising to the snow-white clouds, or even to the boundless universe. Xiaozhi was stunned for a moment, then looked up to the sky and asked. Latios, this must be what you let us see, right? There was no sound to respond to Xiaozhi, but the scene was still changing. When Xiaozhi and others came to the endless universe, they saw the beautiful blue planet. There's even an emerald dragon guarding the planet. Soon, the dream projection was over. When everyone returned to the boat, a blue, transparent and clear gem appeared on Canon's hand. This is Soul Dew, Latios, B. Without too much explanation, everyone knows that this Soul Dew must have been transformed by Latios. Even after he died, he continued to protect the Water City in his own way. Kanon just held the Soul Dew in his hand, and tears fell down drop by drop. No matter how hard you deny it, Latios is really gone. As soon as the scene changed, everyone had returned to the secret garden in the Water City. Kanon put Soul Dew back into the garden pool, and even the whole garden became alive again. Soul Dew exuded a faint light in the pool, which made Misty sigh. This light is so warm, Ben Gray also echoed. Yes, this is the warmest light in the world. 0.9. Kanon looked at Soul Dew in the pool with gentle and loving eyes and whispered. Latios, please, always protect this city, with us. Yulongdu. Latios is really gone. Open black lens bracket Diantha. There is no Ho-Oh. I can't accept this ending, close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Sometimes, tragedy is more shocking than comedy, but no one likes tragedy. I don't want to accept this fact either. Open black lens bracket Bruno. Those two beasts. What good things have they done? Close black lens bracket. Alder. I have issued a wanted order for those two phantom thieves across Unova. If those two women show up, I will rush there as soon as possible. Close black lens bracket. Dandy. The normal combat power of criminals who want the champion to act personally must reach at least the elite level, but for these two guys, I think it is not an exaggeration for the champions of the entire alliance to arrest them. 1. Catalia. 2 scum. I declare that they are one of the villains I hate the most. I recommend cutting them to pieces. Sabrina. If you catch them, you don't mind sending them to me. I can turn them into dolls. I happen to have a lot of methods I want to experiment with. I still want to attack normal people. I feel a little bit sorry for them. Then there is nothing to worry about. Close black lens bracket. Chapter 149. Kiss of the Century, Inventory Reward, First Level God, Latios. Advertisement. The video has obviously been played to the end, and there is no way for Latios to turn around again. Although this reality is difficult to accept, people still have to accept him. The good thing is that this is something that will happen in the future, and now Latios is still alive and well. Alliance has once again sent additional manpower to guard Aldomare. Never let tragedy happen again in reality. In addition, everyone in the world hates the so-called world's #1 Phantom Thieves sisters. His level of hatred even surpasses Giovanni, becoming the most hated villain. None of them, among them, the punishment method used by two psychics, Catalia and Sabrina. Let the Phantom Thieves shudder when they see it. They have even thought that Jinpan should give up and quit. If the thing is really caught by Alliance and sent to Sabrina and the others to cook, it would be worse than death. Sabrina's psychic skills are really unpredictable. What can be turned into a doll, turned into a pendant, cutting the body without damaging the life, etc. This is no longer a psychic. This is a monster, a monster. The secret garden of Water City. Canon hugged Latios tightly, as if she was afraid that Latios would disappear in front of her. After all, Latios and Latios can be considered Pokémon that she grew up with. After more than 10 years, they have become Canon's closest friends, even family members. She couldn't imagine what would happen to her after Latios died. Can you accept yourself normally and peacefully in the image? It is even more unimaginable to imagine what will happen to my younger sister Latios after she loses her brother. Fortunately, Tiandao Inventory appeared and put the future in front of them. Knowing the future, they will definitely not let tragedies happen again. Latios, who was being held by Canon, was pressing against the boy on the screen tightly. There are evil people in the world who are as disgusting as the Sanarian sisters. There are also people like Xiaozhi who love Pokémon extremely and give everything for Pokémon. Latios has decided that in the future his power will not hold back against any evil person. If you hurt your friends or even your sister by holding back to evil people. That was what he regretted the most. In addition, Latios is also very grateful to Xiaozhi for everything he has done for him and his sister. So he also decided that if Xiaozhi is in danger in the future, he will definitely help. In the image, after dealing with Soul Du's matter, Xiaozhi and others will also leave Shuidu. Uncle Ben Gray, we are ready to leave. Oh, are you leaving? Yes, the Silver Conference is about to start. We have to rush back to attend the Silver Conference. So, then I wish you a tailwind all the way, and I hope you win the championship, Xiaozhi. I will. Xiaozhi is full of fighting spirit. Canon, Xiaozhi and the others are leaving. Why don't you come and say hello? Ben Gray shouted to Canon upstairs, but no one responded. It's strange, I was still here just now. It's okay, let's meet again next time. Okay, then you all go to Tailwind. After finishing speaking, Xiaozhi and others waved to Uncle Ben Gray and the boat sailed out. This time the boat is not a sliding wooden boat, but a normal gasoline boat. If we row back, we will probably be exhausted. Originally, everyone thought that the video should end here. As a result, the screen continues to play. When Xiaozhi and others were getting ready to go out to Water City in the boat, Pikachu suddenly shouted. Xiaozhi followed Pikachu's line of sight and looked at it. Kanan, dressed in green, held a roll of white paper in his hand and waved to Xiaozhi and others. Master, please stop in front. The boat slowly docked at a place similar to a pier on the shore. Xiaozhi walked to the shore, and Kanan ran towards him waving his hand. Kanan, I thought I couldn't say goodbye to you. Qianan didn't say anything, he just handed the roll of white paper in his hand to Xiaozhi. Xiaozhi looked at Qianan with some confusion, but Qianan just nodded and asked Xiaozhi to take the blank paper. When Xiaozhi took the blank paper, a scene that shocked the world happened. The moment Qianan gave Xiaozhi a blank piece of paper, his cheek came up to him. The red lips kissed Xiaozhi gently on the face. In an instant, all over the world, Misty Xiaoging in the package image had a normal reaction of exploding. Kalo's Venevil Town. How? What's going on? What's happening? Advertisement. Serena's mouth twitched slightly and her body trembled. She couldn't believe what she saw was real. Although it's not Xiaozhi's mouth, but this can be regarded as the first kiss given to Xiaozhi by another Stephanie. How could it be? How could this happen? Qianan didn't show anything to Xiaozhi during the entire process. Why did he kiss her in the end? Woohoo! This world is too dangerous. Alola region, Pokemon school. Shui Lian, Mao, Kiave and others all covered their eyes, looking inappropriate for children. In fact, their fingers opened a gap, and for this kiss that can only be touched in the adult world. They were very curious. In addition to feeling a little shy, Lily also felt a little uncomfortable inside. Strange. I haven't met Xiaozhi, nor have I spoken to Xiaozhi. There is no scene of communicating with Xiaozhi in the inventory. Why do I feel uncomfortable? Could it be that? No way, how could I fall in love with someone I haven't actually met yet? Illusion, it must be an illusion. Water City's secret garden. Kanan explained to his grandfather with a red face. That's not me, Grandpa, it doesn't look like me. I'm not even wearing the white hat I usually wear. And I haven't felt that way about Xiaozhi yet. At most, I'm just grateful. Just grateful. Kanan never expected that the video would eventually release such a heavyweight scene. Even after seeing many of Xiaozhi's reviews and being rescued by Xiaozhi in the video. Qianan doesn't even like Xiaozhi's feelings, let alone himself in the image. So the person who kissed Xiaozhi was definitely not her. Ben Gray rubbed his chin and said meaningfully, it's hard to say. Grandfather. Dragon Country. Alice looked at the scene on the video with curiosity. Regarding the kiss, she basically had no feeling other than curiosity. Sinnoh region Twinleaf Town. Don, who was looking at the image with Johanna, was suddenly stunned. The biscuits he was eating fell to the ground, and his eyes were filled with shock. There is also a hint of sadness. Johanna keenly noticed that something was wrong with her daughter. Combining the scenes on the screen, she immediately guessed the reason. But even she didn't expect that the boy in the image was so charming. She has been attracted to this point without even meeting her baby daughter. You know, she is still around now. Normally, even if Dawn really has any thoughts in her heart, she will hide it. But now, are you so shocked that you can't even hide it? Johanna shook her head, not revealing Dawn's stunned look. Young people's affairs. It's better to leave them to the young people to solve by themselves. Dawn was stunned and then remembered that her mother was still around. She quickly picked up the biscuits and smiled awkwardly at Johanna. Haha, sorry mom, this is the first time I saw a boy and Stephanie like this, and I was a little scared. Oh, really, HMPH, remember to clean up the cookie crumbs. Okay. Seeing that her mother was no longer pursuing the case, Don reluctantly breathed a sigh of relief. Then he looked fiercely at Qianan, who was kissing Xiaozhi. Humph. What's so great about it? Why don't you just meet Xiaozhi before me? If I meet Xiaozhi, I will. No, what the hell, I won't do that kind of thing. After all, Xiaozhi and I will be friends at best from now on. What am I thinking about? Dawn blushed and put away her random thoughts, looking at her mother beside her. She breathed a sigh of relief when she saw her mother wasn't looking at her at all. Little did they know, Johanna had seen all of Dawn's reactions. Is this kid starting to get stuck in already? Professor Oak's laboratory backyard. Xiaozhi looked at the picture on the screen and was a little stunned. No matter how idiotic you were about emotions, you still know what kissing means. But what he couldn't figure out was, why did Kanan kiss him? Misty just clenched her fists, and her back teeth felt like crunch. If she had a can in her hand now, she would probably be able to crush it with her bare hands. What's going on with this XLR? From the whole video, I don't see that she has any thoughts about Xiaozhi. Wait. Is it Latios? But, even if it's Latios, it's too much. Xiaozhi didn't even agree. How can you mess with relatives? This can be considered Xiaozhi's first kiss, right? This should have been. Bah. What are you thinking about, Misty? You will like the simple-minded person with well-developed limbs who only cares about Pokémon? Someone? You might actually like it. Misty looked at Xiaozhi with deep meaning. It's useful to lie to others, but what's the use of lying to yourself? Misty. Just likes Xiaozhi. If I didn't like Xiaozhi, how could I have traveled all over Guangdong with him just for a bicycle? She even traveled throughout the Johto region. She followed Xiaozhi all the way to the Johto region Silver Conference. Although I don't know what happened later, there must be a reason to leave. She was sure. She just liked Xiaozhi. That's why my inner reaction was so big after seeing the image of Xiaozhi being kissed. But that's something that hasn't happened yet. It was her duty to get Xiaozhi's first kiss, Misty. Advertisement Delia on the side had a panoramic view of the reactions of Xiaozhi and others. Delia was smiling all the time. For her, there are never too many daughters-in-law, and Xiaozhi should be popular. Gary already has 6 girlfriends, what happened to his son having more? But according to his son's dull look, unless the other party comes over to him, he wants to find a girlfriend. It should be a matter of the next life. Qihong also has a panoramic view of everything on the screen. The love between teenagers and girls is so beautiful. At the beginning, he was just like Xiaozhi, an ignorant boy. Later, when Mount Silver was autistic, except for Qinglu coming over occasionally. There is still one, she comes here almost every few days, her name is Yi. I don't know what's going on with that quirky little girl. Will she be anxious if she sees that I'm not at Mount Silver? Kai Hong shook his head and stopped thinking about things in his own world. There is no way to contact your own world now, if you really want to go back. You still have to train Xiaozhi and then fight. So, there is no use worrying, only moving forward is the only way. Image 1 after being kissed, Xiaozhi looked a little dazed. This must be the second time he has been kissed, right? Judging from the touch, this should be Latios, right? Misty looked dazed on the side. She let go of Togepi in shock. Eyes wide open, pupils narrowed, looking stupid, Xiaobing was frightened and sat on the ground. He was mainly a wooden person. Xiaozhi was actively kissed by another girl. This is so incredible. After kissing Xiaozhi, Kanan turned around and ran away. Play and run, it's so exciting. Backquote was that. Latios, or Xanon? Misty said this hesitantly, and the answer to the question was her last relief. It would be okay if it was Latios, at least you would have some psychological comfort. If you want to try Qianan, B**********D. She has been traveling with Xiaozhi for more than a year. She has never even kissed Xiaozhi. How dare that little Stephanie who has only met Xiaozhi for 2 days be so bold? No, I don't know, but it's so nice. I want to be kissed by my big sister too. Pikachu crossed his arms with an intriguing expression. Xiaozhi opened the rolled-up white paper in his hand. There is a painting above, a painting of Xiaozhi and Pikachu. This painting should be done by Kanan. Now it's a bit intriguing. Was it the Xanon or Latios that kissed Xiaozhi? The image still doesn't end. A beautiful song comes from the screen. Xiaozhi and others went to the Silver Conference, and when Xiaozhi took the boat out of Shuidu, 3 jets of normal Pokémon are hovering in the sky, seemingly guarding Xiaozhi's trip. The 3 jets occasionally reveal themselves, and it can be seen, 2 red and 1 blue. And the subsequent video also showed the scene of the 2 Phantom Thief sisters entering the prison. Apparently he was sent to prison to do a labor camp. It's a pity not to be executed by Lingxi. At the end of the video, Xiaozhi and others arrived on the journey to the Silver Conference. Yulongdu. Is this the new Latios brother and sister coming to protect the Water City? Yes. Diantha. Latios and Latios, the 2 groups of fantasy Pokémon. Don't look small. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Bruno. Fortunately, I was a little excited, thinking that Latios was resurrected. Close black lens bracket. Dandy. Latios turned into Soul Dew, forever guarding the city he loves, as well as his sister and his friends. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Behind the scene, the 2 women were also taken into prison. Just as Dew said, any crime will be brought to justice. This time, Lance has no poison. 1. Yulongdu. These 2 guys actually should be sentenced to death, but I don't know how their crimes are judged in the video. Close black lens bracket. Azalea Town Jenny. This Yulongdu champion can rest assured that even if they have not committed such a heinous crime in the real world, if they are caught, they will still be sentenced to life imprisonment, if the crime in the video will also be subject to other punishments. Jenny's words made the 2 Phantom Thieves even more interested in Jinpan washing his hands. This inventory ends here. The next inventory will start at the same time tomorrow. The inventory type will be a super large inventory. Please stay tuned. Close black lens bracket. Recipients of rewards in this inventory. Xiaozhi, Latios, rewards have been distributed. Work. Open black lens bracket Latios reward. Ruler of Water City. Close black lens bracket, Latios reward. Double the growth rate, activate telepathy with Xiaozhi. Xiaozhi reward. Directional ring landing point +1. The ruler of the Water City. Everything in the Water City is under the control of Latios, and anyone with evil intentions will be detected. In the Water City, Latios' combat power is comparable to first level god. When they saw the effect of the Water City ruler, the poaching groups all over the world fell silent. Chapter 150. Xiaozhi conquers Mewtwo. Mewtwo vs Mewtwo. Advertisement. This time Tiandao Inventory released the news that there are Latios and Latios in Water City. Even the secret garden of Water City was exposed. No matter how tight Alliance's defense is, no matter how vigilant Latios and Latios are, there is always a chance that something will slip through the net. However, the Dominator of the Water City, rewarded by Tiandao's inventory, has directly made all hidden dangers disappear invisibly. With this power, let alone poachers, even high legends say they want to create a Water City. All must be considered. In the Water City, Latios not only has complete control over the power of the seawater in the Water City, he even has the strength of a first-level god himself. There is absolutely no way a normal first-level god can beat Latios. All poachers and those with evil intentions in the world, as long as they dare to enter the Water City, there will be no escape. The safety of the Water City is completely guaranteed. As for the rewards Latios received, they are very easy to understand. Even if you don't explain it, others will know what it means. Xiaozhi's reward is confusing. What is the directional ring landing point +1? What does the directional ring mean? Because Trico's original reward was not announced. Therefore, except for a few people in the world, no one knows the function of this reward. In addition, everyone is also very interested in the new super large inventory. The last 2 super large inventories were Red's journey and Xiaozhi's journey in the parallel world. I wonder whose journey it will be this time. Professor Oak's laboratory backyard. Xiaozhi took out the ring with a thought, and then he discovered that he could control the ring to open the entrance in 2 places. One is the Wood Show Palace Forest, and the other is naturally the secret garden of Water City. Latios, can you hear me? Can we go over and play? Through the telepathy rewarded by Tiandao's inventory, even if they are far away from Norman. Xiaozhi can also communicate with Latios mentally, but in order to let everyone know the situation, Xiaozhi spoke directly and shouted, "Is that okay? That's great." Xiaozhi said to Professor Oak and others. Latios said, "We are welcome to come over as guests. Do you want to go play?" Today's inventory is over, and there is nothing to do next. Faced with Xiaozhi's invitation, everyone readily agreed. After that, everyone passed through the simple ring of Hoopa and came to the secret garden of Water City. This place is just like the normal image, a place full of birds singing, flowers fragrant, and luxuriant branches. Coupled with the powerful power of Latios now, this can already be regarded as one of the pure lands in the Pokémon world. In the garden, besides Latios and Latios, Canon and Ben Gray were also among them. Seeing Xiaozhi's arrival, Latios happily circled around Xiaozhi. The smooth head kept rubbing Xiaozhi's cheek. Haha, Latios, I'm here to see you. You and the image are no cuter than the image above. Who? Hearing this, Latios cuddled up to Xiaozhi even more happily, and held Xiaozhi in his arms to take him to play on the swings. A strange color flashed in the red eyes that followed. This space travel is quite interesting. Although he knew that Xiaozhi had a space traveling prop in his hand, Trico also came here this way. But it's my first time to experience it myself. Hoopa. If we catch him, will he be able to travel around the world? Hoopa. Danger. Happy time always passes quickly. Soon everyone was playing in the secret garden until the evening. Because Xiaozhi had something to do in the evening, he could only say goodbye to Latios first. But they have telepathy, and Latios is accompanied by his brother and Canon. Loneliness is certainly not the case. After returning to Professor Oak's laboratory, Xiaozhi also sent Trico back to the forest of Trico. Qihong has customized an exclusive training package for Trico. In addition to the training props redeemed from the Tiandao store, such as wooden stakes, etc. Trico can now train alone in the Trico forest. Now he is not used to leaving his home, and the 1,000-year-old tree has been restored and upgraded. He still wants to protect his home at night. It was only occasionally that he came to Xiaozhi to train as a guest. Otherwise, why would he wait for Xiaozhi to come to Hoenn? Wouldn't it be better to just go with Xiaozhi? After finishing everything, Misty, Xiaobing and Qihong followed Xiaozhi back home. Mewtwo didn't guard the Fountain of Life today either. Because he is quite interested in Xiaozhi's inventory. So I decided to read the inventory with Kai Hong tonight. It wouldn't be too late to come back the next day and use the Fountain of Life to slowly repair one's own genes. Anyway, it won't be as cold as 3 feet of ice in a day. How can genes be repaired so easily? To be honest, Xiaozhi's home is quite big. Xiaozhi's room and a guest room all have bunk beds. Advertisements so Misty and Xiaobing don't have to go back to the Pokémon Center near the Indigo Plateau Conference to rest. That would be too much trouble. Xiaozhi and Misty share a room, Xiaobing and Qihong share a room. As for why it is distributed like this, it is said that Qihong wants to discuss something with Teacher Gang. In addition, Kai Hong also has to read the inventory at night. He felt that asking Xiaozhi to teach him to search for inventory images online was a bit unreliable. And Xiaobing, although he is not reliable when he has a beautiful older sister. But when he is not in ISP form, he is definitely the most reliable presence in the trio. It's not like Xiaozhi and Misty have never slept together. Of course, this refers to getting in and out of bed. When resting at the Pokémon Center, they often get in and out of bed. So Misty didn't feel much about staying in Xiaozhi's room. And she is very worried now. She is still brooding over the kiss during the inventory this afternoon. On the other hand, Xiaozhi is just like a normal person. Apart from being a little shocked when he saw Canon kissing him at first. It seemed that the incident had been completely forgotten later. When Misty was in the secret garden, she also quietly asked Canon if it was her. Canon hesitated and said no, doesn't seem very sure either. Originally she was quite sure that it was not hers, but after seeing the painting for Xiaozhi, she is a little unsure again. So Misty is also in a tangled contest condition now. Soon, night fell and Xiaozhi fell into sleep. Misty listened to the even breathing. I can't help but slowly put away my worries and fall asleep slowly. At this moment, a blue light appeared in Xiaozhi's room. The red and black and gold Pokeball moved. Qihong, who was watching the inventory, was stunned for a moment, and then looked in the direction of Xiaozhi's room. Have you come already? Come here so late? It seems that Xiaozhi still plays a very important role in his heart. Powerful Pokemon can sense each other. As for the mysterious guest who came to Xiaozhi's room, the guy with red waist was naturally aware of it. But, it's too late now, it's not the time for the two sides to meet. And, Kai Hong is just getting addicted to looking at the inventory. It turns out that Xiaozhi's future journey is so rich, this is much more fun than being invincible for a year. Battle against Regice, the disobedient Charmeleon Charizard after evolution. After being obedient, I discovered that Charizard was stunted and was the worst. Finally, after experiencing the practice in Charizard Valley, I was able to defeat Jadong. He could even barely compete with Reshiram later on, and his performance was at least as good as his Charizard. And now Xiaozhi's Charizard has completely recovered to its original talent and development. Even worse, it is not impossible to become a Charizard who can rival him in the future. And that Trico turns out to be a god-killing Sceptile in the future. What happens in the middle is also very interesting. The most important thing is of course that Pikachu, 10 million volt Thunderbolt, Xiaozhi's exclusive Z move. His Pikachu doesn't have that kind of move, at most it only has one, Pikachu's special move. 10 million volt Thunderbolt's power even defeated Alola's Patronus. Even more outrageous than the exclusive Z move is the one-turn form. Can reset one's own strength, making oneself stronger at the same level, and has the potential to increase. The potential of this Pikachu is simply unlimited. Interesting. Let's train Pikachu a little more harshly. Anyway, there is a Fountain of Life. Just to see Pikachu's limit, and acting is not a good habit. Pikachu, who was beaten violently by Snivy on the red computer, muttered to himself. Pikachu, who was sleeping, suddenly trembled all over, as if he had dreamed of something bad. Soon, morning came. Xiaozhi's game was still in the afternoon, but there was Gary's game in the morning. So Xiaozhi got up from the bed sleepily, and a silver-purple vague shadow appeared in front of him. Xiaozhi thought he had just woken up and had a hallucination. After rubbing his eyes, the silver-purple figure became clearer. Mewtwo. Mewtwo was seen standing upright beside Xiaozhi's bed with his arms folded, looking at Xiaozhi with very soft eyes. Good morning, Xiaozhi. Why are you so noisy so early in the morning? Misty sat up in bed and rubbed her eyes, then she saw Mewtwo. What happened, Delia? Xiaoging was cooking when he heard the shouting and ran over quickly. After opening the door, she saw Misty tremblingly pointing her finger in front of her. Delia and Xiaoging also saw Mewtwo's voice. Delia was okay, but Gang also screamed like Xiaozhi and Misty. Mainly because they didn't expect Mewtwo would come over overnight. As for whether this is the red one, although they look exactly the same, their temperaments are completely different. The atmosphere on this Mewtwo is obviously much softer, and he also has a leadership temperament. It's so different from the red Mewtwo. Delia had only one thought when she saw Mewtwo. At noon. I need to eat more food. Advertisement. In Xiaoging's room, the scouts who stayed up late to watch the show were also disturbed by shouts. But after he did it, he knew Mewtwo was coming, so he didn't rush over. Instead, he tidied up the room and walked out slowly. 0. Please give me flowers. 0. After experiencing the brief commotion in the morning, Mewtwo also got to know everyone a little bit. And took the initiative to enter Xiaozhi's Pokeball. Things like Pokeballs have no way of binding Mewtwo. Mewtwo is just a formality. From now on, he is no longer Mewtwo, but partnered with Xiaozhi, Jameng. Jameng and Shameng had a little exchange and learned that Professor Oak's laboratory's fountain of life was very magical. Said he wanted to go and have a look. Professor Oak's laboratory is not far from Xiaozhi's residence, just a teleport away. But Xiaozhi wanted to show Mewtwo the scenery along the way. So it didn't teleport directly. Even so, it was time to walk for 5 minutes. Inside Professor Oak's laboratory. Oh, Xiaozhi, is it so early today? But Gary is earlier. He should have gone to the Indigo Plateau Conference by now. The quarterfinals will start in an hour. Why don't you guys rush there now? It's okay, Mewtwo is here. Teleport will be quick. When you're in a hurry, don't think about style painting. Instead of that, Professor Oak, let me show you my newly captured Pokémon. Then, Xiaozhi took out a red and white ball and threw it, and the silver and purple Pokémon appeared in front of Professor Oak. Professor Oak's pupils shrank, and the shock on his face was clearly visible. Xiaozhi, you. When did you? Mewtwo came here last night. He is now my partner. Mewtwo nodded to Professor Oak as a friendly gesture. After being shocked, Professor Oak said to Xiaozhi seriously. Xiaozhi, Mewtwo's power is far beyond your level now, so promise me not to use Mewtwo to fight except at critical moments, okay? I also wanted to let Mewtwo try his hand at the next game. Professor Oak. Let Mewtwo go to the Indigo Plateau Conference. You rival are too pitiful. That's a bit too much. I will stop after one fight. Xiaozhi's current Pokémon is not weak. I go up to fight just because. I want to tell people all over the world that I am by Xiaozhi's side. Xiaozhi is now the target of much attention and being targeted by thousands of people. One more goal for him and one less goal for him make no difference at all. Even if it was known that he was by Xiaozhi's side, the number of people in the world who wanted to do something to Xiaozhi might be reduced a lot. After all, he is Mewtwo. Qihong doesn't work as Xiaozhi's bodyguard 24 hours a day. But he can. Professor Oak rubbed his chin and seemed to think that this matter was somewhat feasible. It's just a pain for Xiaozhi's next rival, Lily. The purpose of your visit today is to see the Fountain of Life, right? Yes. Then go and see. The research on the flame plate is at its final stage. When I finish this research, I should be able to find a way to harness the power of the flame plate, so I won't accompany you for the time being. You just have fun. As he spoke, Professor Oak continued to engage in intense research. After studying the flame plate, the only next option is the Fountain of Life. Speaking of which, why didn't anyone look for him last night? Oh, by the way, his phone line was unplugged and his phone was turned off. It's better to wait until you finish studying the flame plate before turning it on. It always feels like there will be hundreds of missed calls. Xiaozhi and others took 2 Mewtwo to the Fountain of Life. The so-called authorization is just a thought in Xiaozhi's mind. Jameng stepped forward and took a sip of the Fountain of Life with shock in his eyes. This spring is indeed the final evolution of Clear Cliff Spring water. He actually possesses such magical power. Xiaozhi's Mewtwo, if you have nothing to do, just stay here with me. This spring water has a great effect on you and me. As a price for using this spring water, I promised Xiaozhi to coach you well. Coaching me? I don't know who is stronger or weaker between us. Although Jameng has become gentle now, she is not without temper. Of course I would not be convinced if the same being said he was better than me. The tempers are indeed the same. but it doesn't matter, you will know after comparing. Let's fight in the sky, otherwise, everything here will be destroyed. Good. Xiaozhi on the side looked a little confused. What's going on? Didn't he say that he wanted to teach his Mewtwo? Why is there suddenly a fight? It's okay, it's just a friendly discussion. My Mewtwo hasn't fought in a long time, and my hands are a little itchy. Qihong patted Xiaozhi on the shoulder, indicating that the problem was not big. Xiaozhi looked up at soaring in the sky, and the white clouds were blown away by the strong vibration. Even in the invisible battle soaring in the sky, Xiaozhi on the ground can still feel that the entire Professor Oak's laboratory is like earthquake normal. Within 10 minutes, the two Mewtwo's returned to the Fountain of Life. At this time, Jameng's whole body had received extremely serious injuries. Even the tail was broken off. There are also many places on Qihong's body that are colorful, but not in Jameng's eyes. Xiaozhi's expression changed instantly. Do you call this a sparring session? I'm almost losing my life. Chapter 151. Naughty Cynthia, Xiaozhi vs Kai Hong, Smart Skin Form. Advertisement, Mewtwo, are you okay? Xiaozhi ran to Mewtwo's side and felt heartbroken when he saw the injuries on his body. Is this sparring and sparring too much? It's okay, it looks like a serious injury. As long as the spring water is there, I can recover in 10 minutes. As Jameng held his hand, a stream of water came out of the spring to wrap it up. Within 5 minutes, Jameng was back to his original state. As for Qihong's injury, the two recovers have almost fully recovered. The two seemed to be fighting hard, but in fact they were not really angry, otherwise the injuries would not be that simple. How about it, with my level, I can teach you no problem, right? You are stronger for now, I will surpass you. HMPH. If you have the ability, just give it a try. Jameng also recognized Chimeng's strength, decided to follow Kai Meng for some time to practice. But now, we need to take Xiaozhi to the Indigo Plateau Conference first. After Misty and Xiaoging arrived, Jameng used a teleport to bring everyone directly to the Indigo Plateau Conference venue. Although there is still some time before the first game starts, the place is already crowded with people. Many people flocked to Xiaozhi after meeting him, asking for autographs, taking photos, shaking hands. Now Xiaozhi is not only the clear favorite to win the championship, but also the most famous person in the world. After taking stock several times, either Xiaozhi will be the protagonist, or Xiaozhi from the parallel world will be the protagonist. If there is no fire, there will be ghosts. And Qihong on the side, although her appearance is very different from when she was 10 years old, she has grown up over the years after all. So many people don't recognize Qihong either. Xiaozhi, who was surrounded by everyone, was a little carried away at first. But soon, he realized that celebrity is not that easy. For half an hour, they either shook hands and took photos or signed autographs. Even with the physique of a mega and rookie, it's still somewhat unbearable. So he looked at Misty Xiaoging on the side and asked for help. But Misty ignored it directly. Who made Xiaozhi not rejected in the first place? I took the autographs and posed for pictures just to be in the limelight. Now it's okay and you'll reap the consequences. Xiaozhi, haven't you entered the venue yet? A gentle voice came, and Xiaozhi seemed to have met the savior. Normal looked over. He found Cynthia, dressed in blue casual clothes, eating ice cream and looking at him doubtfully. He seems to be wondering why Xiaozhi hasn't entered the venue yet. Oh, Miss Cynthia. I was about to go in. You came just in time. Let's go in together. Xiaozhi quickly extended an invitation to Cynthia, thinking that Cynthia would readily agree to save him from the fire and water. Who knows? Cynthia licked a mouthful of ice cream with her red tongue, thought for a moment and then responded. I understand, Xiaozhi. Have you met the fans? You can't disappoint the fans. Come in after you have taken care of the fans' needs. I will wait for you inside the venue. Saying that, Cynthia left Xiaozhi with a slim and beautiful back. Xiaozhi, who was surrounded by many fans, was instantly petrified. What the hell, this is different from what he thought. Misty, Xiaoging. Seeing Xiaozhi's expression of tears, Misty finally relented. She pointed her finger at Xiaozhi and said, now you have a better memory, right? It's not easy to be a celebrity. I know. Take me away quickly. When the fans heard that Xiaozhi was leaving, they became even more crazy when there were no people asking for autographs and photos. Misty's watery eyes rolled, and then she had a plan in mind. Xiaozhi, release Bulbasaur. Okay, it's up to you, Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur's Pokeball was thrown by Xiaozhi and flew to Misty's side. Dana. When Bulbasaur came out in high spirits, he discovered that his trainer was surrounded by people. Bulbasaur, use Vine Whip to pull Xiaozhi out and throw him into the quartz venue. Dana, don't you believe in your trainer's physique? You should understand after reading so many reviews, right? Dana. Bulbasaur was a little worried at first that throwing Xiaozhi out would hurt him or something. As a result, Misty's words suddenly reminded Bulbasaur that in the inventory image. How abnormal is his trainer's physique? Now Bulbasaur has no scruples. He directly tied Xiaozhi's hands with a vine whip, and then violently threw him away to the entrance of the Indigo Plateau Conference. Misty and Xiaoging also quickly entered the Indigo Plateau Conference venue. Those enthusiastic fans still wanted to follow, but the guards at the door firmly blocked them. You are not allowed to enter the main venue of the Indigo Plateau Conference without an audience ticket or a contestant certificate. As for why Xiaozhi Misty Xiaoging was able to enter without showing proof, their reputation still needs proof. In this way, Xiaozhi finally escaped. It's strange, they were obviously not so enthusiastic before. Xiaozhi couldn't understand it, it was not like he had never met fans before. But they are all rational fans, how can they be as crazy as they are now? Advertisement, maybe it's because of the Mythical Beast chapter that you became popular again, and there are a lot of people with evil intentions in it. Qihong walked slowly from the entrance, in fact, he didn't have a ticket either. But a small teleport can solve this problem. Qihong's words shocked Xiaozhi and others. Someone with evil intentions? Xiaozhi didn't notice it at all just now. Those who attacked you, I directly used psychic to clear all the bad memories in their minds, so it was as normal as it appeared. Mewtwo's voice sounded in Xiaozhi's heart, so it turned out that the reason why everything was safe just now was because Mewtwo knew what to do there. In addition, maybe because the bad side has been eliminated, their admiration for you has been magnified several times, so some fans are very fanatical. The words Xiaozhi was about to say thank you got stuck in his throat and couldn't come out. No wonder there are so many fanatic fans this time. It turns out it was Mewtwo who did a good thing. However, Mewtwo was doing this for his own safety, so Xiaozhi didn't say much. Compared to this, the first game of the Indigo Plateau Conference has already begun. Xiaozhi originally planned to come over earlier to meet Gary, but now it seems that he can only watch him in the audience. By the time Xiaozhi and others arrived at the auditorium, Gary had been fighting with each other for some time. At this time, 3 of the Pokémon in Gary's hand were dimmed. 4 of the opponent's Pokémon have been dimmed, and Gary's generals Blastoise and Arcanine have not been released yet. So Gary's side has the advantage for the time being. However, the next Pokémon released by the opponent was Nidoqueen. Assist's aerial advantage not only defeated Nidoqueen, but also defeated Nidoqueen. And he even crippled Arcanine. The last Venusaur came up and used a hardened plant AOC to remove the remaining blood of Arcanine. All Gary has left is Blastoise, in the audience. This player is not bad. Although Gary's strength is better than him, he committed the same problem as Qinglu again. When he had the advantage, he became arrogant, but was brought back to the current situation by the opponent. Qihong analyzed the situation on the field, and Xiaozhi asked worriedly. Then will Gary lose? No. He should have recovered smelling salts now, although he is fighting against attribute, but if he can't even overcome the reverse attribute, he is not a powerful trainer. Does overcoming the inverse attribute make you a powerful trainer? Crimson. Is there something wrong with your kid's understanding? What he said is that a powerful trainer can overcome the inverse attribute, but it is not the inverse attribute that overcomes the trainer of the next day. Please figure out the order for me. Just as Red predicted, Gary regained his composure and fought against attribute. But he also used Blastoise to defeat the opponent's Venusaur and successfully advanced to the semifinals. Gary was also officially crowned the Kanto region's talented boy here. Although the gold content of this Indigo Plateau Conference is not high, you can enter the semifinals after traveling for only half a year. This is already an extremely powerful achievement. It turns out that Xiaozhi's trajectory is only the top 16 of the Indigo Plateau Conference, which is already a very good result. Gary has entered the semifinals and there is another game in the morning, but this has little to do with Xiaozhi. That was Gary's rival, Xiaozhi just slipped away. If you have that time, why not practice more with Qihong? On the way, Xiaozhi and Gary met each other. After talking to each other, Xiaozhi decided to go back to Professor Oak's laboratory first. And Gary is still here to study his next rival. So Xiaozhi and others directly borrowed Mewtwo's power to return to Professor Oak's laboratory, the training ground next door. Qihong wanted to try it out and see what the so-called zippy form was like. Xiaozhi is also very curious. The two came to the training ground, and Red released his round-faced Pikachu. When sparring, it's always Pikachu versus Pikachu, Charizard versus Charizard. Afterwards, Xiaozhi also took out the hat that counted the rewards and put it on Pikachu's head, preparing him to fight. However, when Pikachu put on the hat, Xiaozhi and Pikachu were shocked at the same time. A strange power flowed between them. Xiaozhi felt that even if Pikachu didn't speak, he completely understood what Pikachu wanted to express. The same goes for Pikachu. This is faster communication than telepathy. The two don't even need to have a mental conversation. With just one thought, you can know what the other person is thinking. The mind is connected and the consciousness is shared. This can only be expressed in this vocabulary, Pikapi. Let's go Pikachu. Qihong looked at the two high-spirited people and was stunned. This time, Pikachu and Xiaozhi seemed to be different. Preemptive strike. Pick up. Xiaozhi's shouting was habitual, and the moment Xiaozhi's voice came out, Pikachu had already turned into a white light and flashed away. Skin. Chippy jumped sideways and dodged Chippy's quick attack. However, Chippy's expression also became serious from the leisurely look at the beginning. The number of games he and GB played were not once or twice. But this time GB's quick attack is faster than before, much faster. Advertisement, Thunderbolt. Pick up. GP slapped his cheeks with his short hands, and huge golden lightning spurted out from his body. Thunderbolt block. Qihong did not choose to dodge, but chose to confront him head-on. He wanted to see how strengthened Pikachu was with the hat on. Pikachu. 2 golden thunderbolts struck together. No distinction was made between top and bottom. No, it should be. It is said that Chippy is at ease. Red Skin's power is by no means just this, but in order to experiment with the power of Kai Skin's form, he controlled Thunderbolt's power. The power is controlled at the same level as Pikachu. This is even more difficult than a unilateral crushing attack. Red Skin's control over thunder and lightning is superb. Then the two sides fought again for several rounds, and Misty and Xiaozhi who were watching were dazzled. This is Xiaozhi and Pikachu? Misty asked hesitantly. Don't ask me. I'm a little dizzy too. When did Pikachu reach this level? I can't even catch him with my eyes. Xiaozhi also shook his head in confusion. It's not like they haven't seen the training between Xiaozhi and Qihong before. But this time Pikachu's power is too exaggerated. It even feels like GB's power is still increasing. What the hell is this? Can wearing a hat be that powerful? Just as the battle between the two sides was in full swing, a figure appeared behind Misty and Xiaozhi. Is the person Xiaozhi is fighting against now Qihong? Yeah. Oh. You are. Misty nodded subconsciously in reply, and then she suddenly remembered that there was someone behind her. When did she have someone else? As a result, I turned around and found Cynthia, who was wearing green casual clothes and a sun hat with blonde hair, stood behind them at some point. Shush, don't disturb the battle between them, let me watch quietly for a while. Okay. But Miss Cynthia, don't you need to watch the game from the podium? Haha, I ran out. Misty was a little embarrassed, so she always felt that Cynthia's character was not at all like the iceberg beauty she appeared to be. That's not an illusion at all, it's true. Xiaozhi was about to kneel down to court when he saw Cynthia. As a result, Misty quickly grabbed Xiaozhi's ears. He pulled him back and didn't let him disturb the battle between Xiaozhi and them. And the battle between Xiaozhi and Qihong has also reached a fever pitch. GP returned to Xiaozhi after colliding with him. There were already many scars on his small body. And while he was panting, Chippy was almost unscathed in the contest condition. It's almost ready, Xiaozhi. The strength test of this contest condition has been completed. I initially estimate that it should have reached elite, and in elite, the strength is considered good. Qihong made a judgment on GP's strength, elite level, and above average among the elites. Of course, this has something to do with Pikachu getting stronger as he fights. But, even Pikachu from the beginning has already reached elite level. This smart skin form seems to be 100 million times outrageous. Brother Qihong. Hoochie. 1.1 is not over yet, Hoochie. Xiaozhi was also out of breath like Pikachu, which was also noticed by Qihong. It seems this so-called smart skin form consumes even trainers' physical strength. In the review he saw last night, Greninja's bond form was quite similar. The contest conditions of Pokémon and trainer will be synchronized, and the strength of Pokémon will gradually increase. However, one is an artificially transformed form, and the other is born with that potential power. In short, it's pretty much the same. Oh, do you have any other tricks? Yes, this last move. Brother Qihong, you have to take it. Come on Pikachu, pick up. Xiaozhi took a deep breath and then crossed his hands. The black and silver Z-ring on his hand glowed brightly. The Z crystal above is GBZ. That's right, by now, Pikachu's power is enough to trigger the Z move. However, the Z move not only requires the strength of the Pokémon, but also the strength of the trainer. With Xiaozhi's current physical strength, he doesn't know if he can use Chuji. Misty, Xiaozhi and Cynthia were also shocked when they saw Xiaozhi's starting move. How come? Xiaozhi can now use 10 million volt Thunderbolt. Pikachu's strength should have reached the standard to activate the 10 million volt Thunderbolt, but I don't know if Xiaozhi's physical strength can support the use of 10 million volt Thunderbolt. I asked Professor Kukui to learn about the Z move. The Z move affects the trainer's posture during use. Momentum, will, performance, etc. are all a test, and now Xiaozhi. Cynthia looked at the young men fighting on the field with some worry. The exclusive Z that consumes extremely physical energy. Can Xiaozhi's contest condition really be used now? Chapter 152. Champion level 10 million volt Thunderbolt. Red's meeting with the champions. Advertisement next to the stadium. Cynthia looked at Xiaozhi worriedly. If Xiaozhi maintains her full strength now, she will not worry at all that her Z move will fail. But now, Xiaozhi is obviously in sync with Pikachu for some reason. Just like in the previous inventory, he was in sync with Greninja. Is it too risky to use Z move under this kind of contest condition? No matter what they thought, Xiaozhi had already begun to activate the power of Ooze Bracelet. Pikachu jumped up, high-fived Xiaozhi with his tail, and began to make corresponding gestures. A million volts more powerful than Thunderbolt. Pickup. No, it's more powerful, our super full power. Pika Pika. Pikachu, 10 million volt Thunderbolt. Pika Pika Pikachu. GB jumped to soaring in the sky, and the soaring in the sky which was originally blue sky and white clouds, was instantly covered with dark clouds. The huge thunder and lightning power hit Jeepy, and Jeepy was wrapped in golden spark. Then, 7-colored divine light burst out from his body, targeting his fingertips. The red look finally became excited. This is right. This is Pokémon battle. Pikachu, let them see our power too. High pressure thunder shock. Pickup. Upon hearing this, Chippy was covered in a layer of golden spark, and then suddenly splash. Assists invisible lightning arcs run wildly and soaring in the sky. The red skin covered with golden spark is like a golden lightning, striking from the bottom up. Boom. The terrifying voltage swept across the entire stadium, not just the stadium. The whole Pallet Town seemed to be shaking. At some point, a blue shark Pokémon appeared in front of Cynthia and the three of them. This is Cynthia's trump card, the quasi-god of the Sinnoh region, Garchomp. At this time, a green barrier spread out in front of Garchomp. Protect Cynthia and others well. The aftermath of the collision of these two forces was too great. If Garchomp hadn't been brought out for defense, I'm afraid all three of them would have been blown away by now. Two powerful electric forces collide together. The colorful electric light constantly resists the upward charging golden spark. The influence around me is getting bigger and bigger. In the end, two Mewtwo directly used Psychic to block the area. Otherwise, the entire Pallet Town might be demolished by these two people. Didn't you say we should have a discussion? HMPH, that red guy, you must be excited to meet rival. His Pikachu has also begun to gradually show its true strength. I didn't expect that Xiaozhi's Pikachu would be so powerful now. It's just the power I got yesterday. That hat is the champion of Xiaozhi Pikachu's strength. Without the hat, he will be weak to the elite level. That's very strong too. The two Mewtwo's sealed off the area while communicating. At the same time, a super shield was added to Cynthia and others. Let Garchomp not have to work so hard to hold Protect in front. Come on, pick up. Xiaozhi's hands were shaped like calyxes, and he and Pikachu pushed the thunder and lightning out hard. Suddenly, his whole body was shaken, and the pupils in his eyes slowly disappeared. The power that surged throughout his body also began to disappear. Jeepy was also hit hard, and the colorful lightning that was fighting against Chippy was shattered one by one. One person and one mouse fell to the ground almost at the same time. Upon seeing this, Kai Hong came to his senses from the intense contest condition and immediately gave the order. Pikachu, come back, pick up. Chippy's whole body erupted with powerful electricity. It shattered all the fragments of lightning, and finally returned to Chi-Hong's side. Xiaozhi! Xiaozhi! Upon seeing this, Misty, Xiaobing and the others rushed forward and helped Xiaozhi up. Fortunately, nothing happened. I just lost strength. Xiaobing checked Xiaozhi's contest condition and found that there was nothing serious, at least on the surface. Chi-Hong said helplessly. Just now Xiaozhi should have entered the same contest condition as the one he and Greninja entered in the previous video, a contest condition of one mind. That contest condition, he and Pokémon are of one mind, and they continue to become stronger during the battle. However, the contest condition will also continue to consume trainers' physical strength. It is only the first time for Xiaozhi to use it now, and it is considered good to be able to hold on until now. But I got the final push and actually used 10 million volt Thunderbolt. I didn't expect that. Kai Meng slowly floated next to Kai Hong and said to him. You have the nerve to say that? Didn't you get excited in the end? Otherwise, you would have let that Pikachu use high voltage thunder shock? Haha, I accidentally got infected by Xiaozhi's excitement. Please pay attention next time. Advertisement, now take Xiaozhi back to Professor Oak's laboratory. There is a fountain of life. It will only take a while to recover. Another reason why Chi-Hong would let Xiaozhi use the 10 million volt Thunderbolt is because of the existence of the fountain of life. If there is that thing, it will not affect Xiaozhi's performance in the afternoon. The fountain of life? I haven't seen it yet? Can you take me there? Cynthia said from the side. All she knew about the magic of the fountain of life was what Tiandao said when taking inventory and handing out rewards. The rest of the effects are unknown to Cynthia, but this did not prevent Cynthia from becoming curious about the fountain of life. After all, her secondary profession is archaeologist. Let's recover Xiaozhi first and leave Mewtwo, Brush. The group of people disappeared directly, but Jameng stayed behind. Why stay? Of course it's to clean up the mess left by the battle between Xiaozhi and Chi-Hong. The entire training ground is in a mess. No, it can no longer be described as a mess. It should be said that the entire training ground was electrified. The venue and surrounding trees were all reduced to ashes and turned into a charred black appearance. Those who didn't know better thought there were fire beasts fighting here. Mewtwo's powerful psychic lights up and begins to repair the stadium. Wow! Come to life. Pikapi, in the backyard of Professor Oak's laboratory, Xiaozhi was resurrected with full health after drinking the fountain of life. Pikachu also patted the non-existent muscles on his arm, indicating that he was fully recovered. The resurrected Xiaozhi saw Cynthia squatting next to the fountain of life and looking at the spring water curiously. Miss Cynthia? Why are you here? Cynthia stood up and smiled at Xiaozhi. I originally wanted to come over to Professor Oak's laboratory to have a look, but on the way I met you fighting Chi-Hong. It was a good fight. Haha, no way, it's still far behind brother Qihong. Xiaozhi touched his head in embarrassment, feeling a little proud in his heart. This battle not only unleashed several times the usual strength, but also received praise from the champion. It can be said that it has made great progress. Okay, don't get carried away. Your Pikachu won't have that kind of power without a hat. After all, the hat is just an external force. Pikachu's own strength must also be improved. It just so happens that today is a good practice. Xiaozhi. You are a devil, aren't you training hard enough in normal times? Are you training extra today? Isn't this a fountain of life? It won't kill you from exhaustion. The effect of the fountain of life is much better than my Lapras life do. Misty Xiaoging, if you are okay, you can also train here. Xiaozhi wanted to cry, but ended up digging a hole for himself to jump over? But Xiaozhi soon cheered up. Being able to do more training is actually a good thing. After all, if you want to become a Pokemon master, you must have the corresponding strength to support yourself. In that case, let's fight. Xiaozhi, can you give me a copy of the authorization from the Fountain of Life? I can. Of course, after all, she is Miss Cynthia. Cynthia swallowed the words on her lips and looked at the young man with a bright smile in front of her in a daze. She originally planned to get something in exchange, but to her surprise, Xiaozhi agreed without even thinking about it. Such a precious thing. Just give it to me. Xiaozhi's personality is exactly the same as the normal shown in the video. You're like this. I don't even know how to repay you. Repaying something. No need, it's just a piece of cake anyway. Cynthia rubbed her chin, looked around Professor Oak's laboratory, and finally said softly. Why don't you let me train your other Pokemon? Although Qihong can help you train Pokemon and even help you develop training methods, but he should focus his training mainly on Pikachu and Charizard, right? How about leaving them all to me, Froka? I promise to give you a surprise then. Cynthia thought about it a lot, and this was the only way she could repay Xiaozhi. When Xiaozhi was in coma, Cynthia also talked with Qihong, and she also had some understanding of what Qihong and Xiaozhi did during this time. She also approves of Kai Hong's training methods for Pokemon. However, the free-range method of letting Pokemon train on its own is definitely not as good as using a trainer to teach it. Many movements and methods of using them need to be known personally to achieve better results. Red's energy is focused on Xiaozhi's Pikachu and Charizard. Naturally, there isn't that much experience management for other Pokemon. At this time, isn't it her turn to appear? But Miss Cynthia, wouldn't this be too much trouble for you? And you are still the Sinnoh champion, Zuo's sighed. Haha, don't worry, I asked Day to help me temporarily handle the business of the Sinnoh champion, and to teach a future supernova of Alliance. It is not an unrewarded reward, right? Mr. Day is so miserable. Misty and Xiaoging complained silently in their hearts. Not only responsible for the responsibility of an Elite Four, but also responsible for the responsibility of the Sinnoh champion. Then, thank you, Miss Cynthia, everyone, come over here. With Xiaozhi's order, all his Pokemon gathered over. Pidgeotto, Froka, Muk, 30 Tauros, Squirtle, Bulbasaur, Kingler. And Charizard and Pikachu. Advertisement. This is your new coach, everyone, please work hard. We, the Indigo Plateau Conference, are going to win the championship. Dana, Stinky, Jenny, many Pokemon responded loudly and their emotions were high. Xiaozhi, now let's talk about your Pikachu's strength. Seeing that Xiaozhi's mobilization was over, Qihong also started a Xiaozhi analyzer to show Pikachu's current strength. Let me talk about the conclusion first. Under normal conditions, Elite is weak, but above the gym, after putting on the hat, it has Elite combat power. During the battle, the strength will continue to increase, and the peak of the increase in strength has not yet been found. The reason why Pikachu could only be increased to the Elite mid to high level just now is because you and Pikachu's physical strength is no longer enough to support Pikachu's continued improvement. In addition, your exclusive Z move 10 million volt Thunderbolt, if used, theoretically has championship level attack power, but, again, your physical strength cannot support this Z move end of use. Backquote everyone fainted after using it. You know, if trainer faints, he will be directly defeated, so the Z move. You can't use it under normal circumstances. Xiaozhi was excited when he heard that Pikachu had championship level power. But this excitement was brought back to its original state within 3 seconds. To put it simply, his and Pikachu's physical strength is not enough to support Pikachu's improvement in strength. If their physical strength increases, the hat-wearing form can be used all the time. This GP form should be regarded as an alternative bonding form, so, in the subsequent training, Xiaozhi, you must also train together. Your physique is not strong enough. When I said this, my red conscience ached a little. Xiaozhi's physique is not strong enough. Bruno would be so ashamed that he would dig a hole in the ground and crawl in. But, that's the truth. Xiaozhi's physique is definitely considered a monster among humans. But when it comes to Pokemon battles, it doesn't seem to be enough. Therefore, if you want to maintain the smart skin form for a long time, in addition to enhancing Pikachu's performance and strength, Xiaozhi himself also needs to increase his physical strength. Brother Qihong doesn't need to tell me that I will practice more. Who said just now that Xiaozhi's physique is not strong enough? Are you talking nonsense with your eyes open? Just then, a voice came from the door of the backyard of Professor Oak's laboratory. Everyone looked over and realized, the elite champions are here. Bruno, one of the official Kanto Elite Four, has just spoken out. He sneered at the person who just said that. Does this person understand the value of Mega Rookie? He actually said that Xiaozhi's physical condition was not good. Didn't he read the inventory? What era has it been, and there are still people who haven't seen Xiaozhi's inventory? Martians. Mr. E. Weren't you Martians wiped out by me? JPG? That's what I said. Is there a problem? When Bruno saw the speaker clearly, his expression changed instantly. Then he said awkwardly, ahem, it turns out to be little brother Kai Hong. Haha, no problem. Of course no problem. Since you said Xiaozhi's physique is not enough, it must not be enough. Practice, practice hard. The rest of the champions may not be familiar with Kai Hong, but Bruno and Lorelei are very familiar with Su Hong. After all, when the champions participated in the 8 Masters competition, Bruno and Lorelei are responsible for protecting Xiaozhi. But when Chi Hong came over, they stopped taking care of Xiaozhi. With Chi Hong here, what do you want them to do? So it was natural for Bruno to recognize the 18-year-old Chi Hong. Are you the red one? The current #1 trainer in the world, champion of Galar, World Championship champion Dandy, stepped forward. He has a strong curiosity about the 10-year-old Chi Hong who is the invincible fighter in the world. After all, he also debuted at the age of 10, and compared to Kai Hong, his path is undoubtedly more legendary. Debuted at the age of 10 and failed once, at least Chi Hong has lost before, but he has never lost. Of course, there is no way he can compare with Chi Hong in terms of record. Chi Hong has a record of defeating high-level legends. He can't touch this point now. Alchemy Emperor. I have long admired his name. The 2 legendary trainers shook hands here, with fighting spirit shining in their eyes. When trainers' eyes meet, it's time to fight. Would you be interested in a fight? What an honor. Xiaozhi's eyes lit up when he saw it. The legendary trainer is red, facing off against their #1 trainer in the world, blue. This is a battle on top of the world. Do you want to fight? Do you want to fight? Here. Just give it a try. How about Mr. Dandy? Are you interested? Chi Hong still used honorifics for Alchemy Emperor. After all, the current Alchemy Emperor was still a few years older than him. Playing in the backyard of Professor Oak's laboratory? Not too good? It's okay, there's Mewtwo. Saying that, Kai Hong glanced at Kai Meng, who looked helpless. However, the super barrier was still deployed, spreading a stadium area for the 2 of them to use as a battleground. The 10-year-old champion king of the parallel world, and the current undefeated King Dandy in the Pokémon world. Are we going to start a fight the first time we meet? Chapter 153. Red Explosive Hammer Champions Everywhere. Quartz Quarterfinals Battle Mewtwo is on the field. Advertisement Professor Oak's laboratory backyard. At this time, something shocking to the whole world was quietly happening. In the parallel world, Chi Hong won the championship at the age of 10, and in the current world, Dandy, who debuted at the age of 10 and was undefeated, is about to fight. At this time, Mewtwo has prepared a battlefield, which is the size of a normal stadium. Even if it's noisy inside, Red can still use Psychic to repair it. It's just a small venue. Jameng had also returned to Xiaozhi at this time, and everyone looked at the 2 Mewtwo with some curiosity. From the outside, the 2 Mewtwo's look exactly the same. But in terms of temperament, Mewtwo's temperament on Xiaozhi's side is better. After all, Jameng is Mewtwo with strong independent thinking. Not only did he do things like counterattack, he also leads a large number of cloned Pokémon, thinking about the meaning of survival every day. Kai Meng's experience is not that rich. In the barrier where Kai Meng unfolded, Kai Hong and Dan D walked in, and both parties released their trump cards in unison. Charizard. This is a battle between Charizard. Mr. Dandy is worthy of being the world's mightiest trainer and the strongest trainer. Beside the Fountain of Life, Red fed his scarred Charizard with spring water. And poured some spring water on him. Kaiji's scarred body recovered in less than 10 seconds. Danpeng's injuries were more serious, but not to the point of losing his ability to fight. Dan Emperor also followed the example of a cat painting a tiger and used the same method to treat Dan Pen. Chi Hong, you are stronger. If the fight continues, I will definitely lose. Emperor Dan smiled helplessly. At the end of the battle, Kai Hong chose false swipe. He said that he already knew the strength of Dan Emperor. No need to fight anymore, and Emperor Dan knows. His Charizard is not the red Charizard's rival. Even in terms of command ability, Chi Hong is better than him. Is this the strength of the strongest trainer from another world? I just feel that you failed to use your strongest means when Dan Emperor attacked first. There is no point in continuing to fight now. I still really want to fight Gigantamax. Regarding what Emperor Dan said, Wen was non-committal. Even if Dan Emperor uses Gigantamax, he may not be able to survive his normal Charizard. What's more, is it normal for both parties? However, Chi Hong believes that Dan Emperor can continue to grow, and his current strength is by no means his peak. If Emperor Dan were to spar with him, I'm afraid he would soon be able to reach a higher level than he is now. With rival and goals, Talents will grow faster, isn't the reason why he has grown to this point because there is a powerful rival who has been competing with him. 590 If it weren't for Qinglu, he would probably be on the same level as Alchemy Emperor now. The battle between Brother Qihong and Mr. Dandy was really exciting. Charizard, we will also reach that level in the future. Roar. Pikapi, haha, yes, there is Pikachu, and all my friends, we must stand on top of the world. Xiaozhi made lofty ideals, but soon, the sound of his stomach brought him back to his original state. Everyone couldn't help laughing. Well, let's go back to eat first. Mr. Lance, have you eaten? Alliance is in charge of the food. We have eaten it, but a certain champion who sneaked away has not eaten it. Diantha answered for Lance, looking at Cynthia who was squatting on the ground and teasing Pikachu. Ahem. What do you mean by sneaking away? I just thought there was an ice cream that I had to go over and buy, but I got lost after buying it, that's it. Diantha. You could obviously just say that you ran away, but you made up a reason for me and I cried to death. Miss Cynthia, do you want to come back with us for dinner? Will it cause trouble to your mother? It's okay, Mom will cook a lot more dishes every day, and it's fun when everyone eats together. Then I'd rather be respectful than obey. Sister Sengfanbaekai is online. Qihong, if Tien is free, can you have a battle with me? And I also want to try the strength of the parallel world's mightiest. I wonder if your flames can burn my Orberg. The Elite Four and the other champions invited Qihong to fight. A smile formed at the corner of his red mouth. How long? How long has it been since so many people dared to fight against him? In that world, apart from Qinglu, basically no one could fight against him. There were no players in that world who were as talented as Dandy and focused on fighting. The other champions all have their own side jobs, so it's okay to play against each other once in a while. Is there any point in fighting every day? Otherwise, Qihong wouldn't feel invincible and run to Mount Silver to become autistic. Now there are so many people asking him to fight, that's really a dream come true. Come after dinner. Advertisement. With that said, Kai Hong asked Mewtwo to send him home directly via teleport. Kai Meng and Jameng also went home. Jameng tried Delia's cooking for the first time. This was not the first time for Kai Meng. He felt that the food cooked by Delia tasted really good. Tastier than many Pokémon, ADFD, rations. If there were no special circumstances, he would still want to come back for dinner every day. There are 5 people in the group, plus Pikachu and 2 Mewtwo's, so there is already enough food for 8 people. Fortunately, Delia always cooks more food, otherwise there wouldn't be enough for everyone. After eating and drinking, everyone returned to Professor Oak's laboratory. Kai Meng continued to work diligently to secure a venue so that many champions could fight Kai Hong. The Kanto Elite Four, plus all the champions except Dandy, fought against Kai Hong. Red only used 2 Pokémon throughout the process, Charizard and Pikachu. Directly beat up all the champions' trump card Pokémon. Now even the arrogant Lance had to give in. He is worthy of being the strongest trainer in the parallel world, the one who defeated Dan Emperor. His strength is indeed extraordinary. Just wait, I will definitely become stronger in the future and defeat you. Lance made a declaration of war, and Diantha spread her hands aside and smiled. Haha, Lance, once you say these words, you might never be able to win against Qihong in this life. Yulongdu. Diantha. You are the one who brings me down every time, even on the barrage list. I have tolerated you for a long time. If you have the ability, come and fight. Who is afraid of whom? At this time, there are grievances and grievances. Retaliate. Lance also tolerated Diantha for a long time. Every time in the barrage list, she is the first to cause trouble. It was she who carried forward his reputation as a poisonous naughty girl. Now in the Tiandao inventory forum, his name as Yulongdu's poisonous milk is already known to everyone. It is tolerable, but what is intolerable? Then, the Kalos champion and the Johto region champion fought. With the fountain of life there is no need to worry about recovery. But, this is the last one. Who of you wants to maintain it later? I won't do it anymore. Mewtwo broke out. In the previous battle, Red just asked him to maintain the super shield. Now other champions are asking him to maintain the field. What do you think it is? A protective shield? He, Mewtwo, also has a temper. Ahem, the last one. Red comforted Mewtwo. The arrogance between Lance and Diantha has also dropped a bit. After all, the first level gods are going to get angry. The little fights between them seem to be nothing. The battle between the 2 champions has officially begun. This battle can be regarded as a battle to relieve the fire. It is also the battle that determines the punching bag. If anyone loses, they may not be able to refute the other party the next time they watch the count. Even Diantha can't just complain about Lance's poisonous milk. So this wave. Diantha used all her strength, 1 version 1. Lance used his trump card Dragonite, and of course Diantha used trump card Gardevoir. And he carried out the Mega Evolution without any sense of martial ethics. Dragonite is actually stronger than Gardevoir, but Gardevoir also restrains Dragonite. So the strength is limited. Now Gardevoir has undergone a Mega Evolution again. Lance's face turned green. Shameless, right? The Mega system bullied him without a system? His Dragonite has neither Z moves nor Mega, and the only Gigantamax it has cannot be used here. Just bullying him without any system. As a result, Lance naturally lost, even though the opponent was a bit weak in victory, but if he lost, he lost. Yulongdu champion status -1. When I find the Dragonite Mega Evolution, I will kill you all. Lance swore viciously in his mind. After the battle between the two sides was over, Kai Meng directly went on strike and used the Fountain of Life to repair his genes. The grounds of Professor Oak's laboratory have not been repaired yet, and in the end they had to trouble Jimeng to repair it. In the following time, various champions exchanged training and combat experiences with Su Hong. And I learned from Chi Hong that Xiaozhi's Pikachu has reached the level of a champion. Although there is only one blow, even though one blow will cause fainting. But that's the champion. As geniuses among humans, it took them several years to reach this level. And Xiaozhi, he spent more than half a year traveling. Even with the assistance of external forces, this rate of progress is extremely terrifying. The champions shocked everyone and made them dumbfounded. After a brief exchange with Chi Hong, Cynthia started her own job, that is, she agreed to Xiaozhi's task, which was to teach Xiaozhi's Pokémon. Check out the Fountain of Life occasionally. Xiaozhi has told many champions about the function of the Fountain of Life. After knowing that the Fountain of Life has so many terrifying effects, many champions also promised Xiaozhi that they would never tell anyone about it. Of course, Xiaozhi also gave the champions the right to use the Fountain of Life. After all, the water from the spring will be restored automatically every day. Advertisement: even if hundreds of people come to use it, it won't be used up. But what kind of high-ranking and powerful person is the champion elite? How could he accept Xiaozhi's benefits in vain? They were also thinking about what to give Xiaozhi in return. Speaking of good things, there are indeed a lot of them, but compared with the things in Tiandao store, that means a big witch can see a small witch. Although Xiaozhi has spent a lot of points now, he still has millions of points. The most important thing is, his mother, Delia, has hundreds of millions of points. When the elite champions heard this, they were all stunned. This point, only Xiaozhi can do it if he searches from the beginning, right? Xiaozhi's mother quietly accumulated so many points. It's really scary. Hundreds of millions of points can be exchanged for even Arceus Slate, not to mention other precious props. The only thing that cannot be exchanged for Pokémon in the Tiandao store is its strength, and the rest, basically everything is there. Therefore, the only thing the champions can offer Xiaozhi is to serve as Xiaozhi's Pokémon training partner. And find some highly talented Pokémon for Xiaozhi. This time, Xiaozhi's sparring team is even more luxurious. Each two Pokémon can be taught individually by a champion. Even those second-generation officials and rich second-generation people don't have such treatment. In the afternoon, Xiaozhi's quarterfinals began. This is a highly anticipated battle, and many people want to see if Xiaozhi can continue to make breakthroughs. But, judging from the previous battles, there should be no suspense. Lily also worked hard for Xiaozhi. The first one is Raiden, who is extremely restrained against Charizard and Pikachu. I originally thought that Xiaozhi would look down on her and not do her homework, but I didn't expect that Xiaozhi's first Pokémon was Squirtle. This doesn't mean she didn't do her homework, she simply studied her ideas thoroughly. He immediately fell into a disadvantageous position in the first start, although Raiden was thick-skinned and thick-skinned. It can't withstand the 4 times the water element's restraint. Facing Xiaozhi, who was stronger than her and well-prepared, Lily was directly defeated by the opponent with 5 Pokémon. And Xiaozhi. None of them fell. When he finally faced Ivysaur, Xiaozhi released a silver-white Pokémon. Oh my god! What did I see? Xiaozhi's 6th Pokémon turned out to be Mewtwo? Xiaozhi conquered Mewtwo and used it in the quarterfinals of the Indigo Plateau Conference. The commentator's shocking voice echoed throughout the audience. Not to mention the commentators, the many viewers watching the live broadcast, elite. The audience at the scene and the elite champions at the scene were all stunned. Especially Lance and others, they had no idea that Xiaozhi was going to send Mewtwo to play. If Mewtwo is sent on the field, let alone the top 4, the elite champion will have to kneel down when he comes, okay. Now on the surface, even the Alchemy Emperor is not sure that Trainer can defeat a first-level god. As for someone who can consistently defeat a first-level god, the only one who comes from another world is Kai Hong. If you take out Mewtwo, what's there to fight? I'm just going to play this game, and I won't play in the next one. Mewtwo's voice was played directly from the assist commentator's loudspeaker. Telepathy acts on the machine. Is this the power of a first-level god? After the words fell, Mewtwo raised his hand and shook, and Ivysaur flew out directly, losing his ability to fight. Mewtwo then returned directly to Xiaozhi's Pokeball. The quarterfinals are over. If Xiaozhi's victory was expected by everyone, then Xiaozhi won with Mewtwo, which far exceeded everyone's expectations. But many people have noticed that Mewtwo's appearance is just a demonstration. The targets of his demonstrations are naturally evil organizations around the world. Mewtwo is warning all evil organizations after Xiaozhi, his generation. Anyone who dares to attack Xiaozhi will have to pay the corresponding price. It's just Lily player was so scared. For this reason, Xiaozhi even went to apologize to Lily in private. Lily naturally didn't care about this, but she was a little curious about it. Ps. About the combat power of Red and Dandy in the game Pokemon Master. Qihong, Dandy and Xiaozhi are all trainers at the same level, but in terms of animation expression. 10-year-old Kai Hong is about equal to Champion Dan Emperor and younger than 10 years old Xiaozhi. But the 10-year-old Xiaozhi in the animation, I won't comment. How can anyone travel to 8 regions and still be 10 years old? It's illegal for you to be 10 years old. So the 10-year-old Xiaozhi can actually be included here without counting. The 10-year-old Red Mega Evolution defeated Mewtwo. The champion Dan Emperor won a hand of normal and weak Wuju Tai Na without going to Gigantamax. If there were to be a fight, there was no telling who would win between the 10-year-old Kai Hong and the champion Dan D. But there is no reason why Qihong, who is 18 years old, should lose in a fight with Dandy, right? This is the peak Red after training at Mount Silver. You can't lose to Alchemy Emperor, but classify them as trainers of the same level. I also explained in the article why Dan Emperor is not as strong as Kai Hong. It's because he doesn't have a corresponding rival to promote his growth. So, don't argue about who is stronger or weaker, Dan Emperor or Qihong. At least in this book, 18-year-old Qihong, unless Arceus comes, will have to lie down if anyone comes. Chapter 154. Super Large Inventory, Xiaozhi's Path to the 8 Masters. Advertisement, Xiaozhi, you are obviously so much stronger than me. Why are you investigating me so carefully? Judging from the competition situation, Xiaozhi obviously came prepared. Both ground types she prepared were restrained by Xiaozhi. Xiaozhi is obviously so much better than her, why do you still study her situation so thoroughly? Did Xiaozhi treat her? Because Brother Qihong told me that no matter how weak your rival is, you must never look down on others. Be contemptuous in behavior, and pay attention to tactics. Xiaozhi said with a smile and turned around and left. This made Lily come out of her narcissism, also. Xiaozhi is a person who doesn't even react when others take the initiative to kiss him. If you are interested in her, then you are seeing a ghost. The quarterfinals are over, and the semifinals begin the next day. Xiaozhi's next contestant is a guy named Ji Yuan, he's so good. Although the Indigo Plateau Conference is called the Baby Cup, the people who have made it here are not too weak. After Xiaozhi went back, he continued to exercise with Kai Hong. Now he has become an exercise fanatic. His Pokémon are also undergoing high-pressure training. Despite the hard work, my strength has grown gratifyingly. No Pokémon will complain about hard work, because the training their trainers endured was several times harder than theirs. Compare speed with Pikachu, defense with Squirtle, jump with Froakie. This is what Xiaozhi is doing now. He is also working hard to increase his performance. Another thing is, Pidgeotto seems to have started to evolve recently. I believe it won't be long before Pidgeotto can evolve into a Pidgeotto. Around 4:40 p.m., Stephen and others came to the backyard of Professor Oak Laboratory. Now everyone is here to look at the inventory, so Stephen's original temporary residence is no longer there. One of the advantages of this place compared to a house is that it has a wide view, the birds are singing and the flowers are fragrant. You can also watch many Pokémon together, even the champions can release their Pokémon to watch the count. By the way, what's the current situation of Team Lava? Lance asked Stephen curiously. Ever since Kai Hong said he was going to visit Team Lava was frightened so much that he ran away quickly. However, there are so many of them that it should be impossible for them all to escape. A lot of people have been arrested, but they are all at the bottom, and many people don't even know what the Lava team does. Tisk, you're pretty good at fooling people. You Kanto's Team Rocket are pretty much the same. After chatting for a while, 5 o'clock came quickly. The Tiandao inventory screen also appeared in front of people from all over the world as promised. Super Large Inventory, Xiaozhi's 8 Masters, 1. The super large scale inventory is about to begin. Those on the list will receive rewards. Close black lens bracket. This inventory may have 2 modes, answering questions and guessing. Please be prepared. Close black lens bracket. Because this inventory is too large, it will be broadcast in segments. Close black lens bracket. As soon as the title of the inventory came out, the whole world was in an uproar. Xiaozhi's Path of the 8 Masters? In other words, is this Xiaozhi's journey in this world? Although many viewers have long expected that Xiaozhi will become one of the 8 Masters. But what they didn't expect was to see it so quickly. Xiaozhi. When did he become the 8th Master? Who among the 8 current Masters has he pushed out? Really looking forward to it, the image begins. What appears in the picture is Xiaozhi in his childhood. He was holding a poster to Delia, saying that he was going to attend the Kanto Pokemon summer camp organized by Professor Oak. Naturally, Delia would not refuse. The screen changed and a Pichu appeared in the image. His cute appearance and lively personality immediately attracted the love of the audience. However, gradually, the lively Pichu began to feel lonely. Because everyone has their own relatives, their own friends, and their own Pokémon of the same race. Only he. Alone. Just when everyone was moved and sad about Pichu's loneliness. Pichu was lucky enough to meet a bunch of Kangaskhan mothers and sons. Kangaskhan's mother kept Pichu in her pocket as if she were her own son. In this way, Pichu had his own family and friends. The scene changed, and when the summer camp started, Xiaozhi was fast asleep on the bed. By the time he woke up, the other children had already set off. Professor Oak's laboratory backyard. Xiaozhi, you have been lying in bed since you were a child. Faced with Misty's words, Xiaozhi touched his head in embarrassment. It seems. There is such a thing. Although I didn't participate in Pokemon Camp, I still went to Pokemon Summer Camp. Advertisement I played with a lot of Pokemon there. In the image, Professor Oak started camping with a group of children. Among them was a dark-skinned kid who was running around with a cute little Stephanie. Xiaoharu, who was in the Sakuragi laboratory, recognized it immediately. On the screen. Wasn't it him and Xiaohao? And she still remembered that something unpleasant happened later. In the image, the little black-skinned boy took Stephanie everywhere to chase Pokemon, but he went too far because of chasing Pokemon. The range of camping activities was suddenly thrown out. And they met a very ferocious Nidoking. The two people targeted by Nidoking ran away quickly, but little Stephanie was left behind because of her slow speed. She wanted to ask the black-skinned boy for help, but, in exchange, the black-skinned boy walked further and further away. Yulongdu. Who is this person? He caused trouble by himself, and he actually left his companions and ran away. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Compared with Xiaozhi's character, there is a huge difference. Close black lens bracket. Bruno. Don't say that, after all, others are still children. Close black lens bracket. Stephen. Whether it's a child or not, the act of abandoning a friend is wrong and disgusting no matter what. Close black lens bracket. Not only the champion, but also many viewers around the world have begun to have a bad impression of the black-skinned boy. When you were a child, you abandoned your friends and ran away. What kind of person will you be when you grow up? In the image, little Stephanie's strength became weaker and weaker, and she even fell down while running. Then, Nidoking pressed against her step by step. At this time the little boy looked back. Xiaochen, run quickly. The black-skinned boy shouted at Stephanie named Xiaochen from a distance, but he had no intention of moving. Yes, I turned back. In the real sense, I only turned back once. This makes the audience even more disgusted with it. If you're like this, you might as well just leave. Xiaochen moved her body in fear, but how could she escape Nidoking's attack range? Just when Nidoking was about to attack, a pink, cat-like normal Pokemon appeared in front of Kaharu. This Pokemon is Mew. As early as in the previous review, the audience already knew Mew. Mew's appearance made everyone breathe a sigh of relief. With the kind-hearted Mew here, nothing will happen to Xiaochen, right? I saw Mew first use teleport to move Xiaochen away. Rage's Nidoking wanted to attack everything in front of him, so he directly hit Mew with Fissure. After Mew teleport dodged, Fissure killed Nido instantly with a backhand move. Even if there were 100 more wild Pokemon like this, they wouldn't be Mew's rival. After the black-skinned boy on the side saw how powerful Mew was, little stars began to twinkle in his eyes. In Xiaochen's eyes, there were two remaining emotions, fear and gratitude. She seemed a little afraid of Pokemon, and because of the need to save her Pokemon. She didn't dislike Pokemon that much, so two contradictory feelings arose in her heart. After the black-skinned boy saw that the crisis was over, he wanted to run and catch Mew for fun. As a result, Mew disappeared after teleport. The black-skinned boy returned to Xiaochen regretfully and said loudly to Xiaochen, "That pink Pokemon is so powerful, I will definitely catch that Pokemon in the future and make it my Pokemon." Xiaochen's eyes showed disgust and she did not answer the black-skinned boy's words. If they were barely friends before, now, even worse than a passerby. Professor Sakuragi. How dare you say that? You actually said you want to conquer Mew. This guy Xiaohao did such an outrageous thing to my daughter during the camping trip. Close black lens bracket. Professor Sakuragi sneered at Xiaohao's goal. It's crazy that such a person would be favored by Mew. No wonder his daughter, who loved Pokemon when she was a child, suddenly hated Pokemon. And never play with Xiaohao again, so this is what happened. That Xiaohao actually has the nerve to come to the unfinished laboratory every day to look for Pokemon, but he can't find anything to play with. It's so shameless. Xiaohao, who was watching the video with great interest at home, his already dark face became even darker. To be honest, he had forgotten that such a thing happened when he was a child. He only remembered Mew. Unexpectedly, this matter was revealed. It even made Professor Sakuragi hate him. What a disgusting inventory of heaven and earth. I thought you were going to let me be the protagonist, but you actually showed my dark history. I don't want to watch inventory anymore. Humph. Having said that, Xiaohao's eyes couldn't help but glance at the screen. Saying one thing and doing another has always been his code of conduct. In the image, after Mew left teleport, he started playing with a little Kangaskhan again. As a result, little Kangaskhan accidentally fell off the cliff because he was too excited. Pichu and Kangaskhan looked shocked. In the end it was Mew who saved him. Seeing Kangaskhan holding her child and crying bitterly, Pichu slowly made a decision. Nighttime, after Kangaskhan and little Kangaskhan fell asleep, Pichu quietly got out of Kangaskhan's pocket. Advertisement. He glanced at Kangaskhan mother and son with great reluctance, and finally with firm eyes, he slowly and resolutely walked out of the cave where they were sleeping. He is about to separate from Kangaskhan mother and son. 0. Please give me flowers. The scene in the afternoon made him understand that he did not belong here. Kangaskhan mother and son are the real mother and son. And he has found his new destination. I saw Pichu looking at Kangaskhan mother and son reluctantly, recalling many past events in his heart. Finally, a clear teardrop fell from the corner of his eye, and then, Pichu's expression became determined. Pichu. He seemed to be saying, thank you for your continued care. Under the bright moonlight, Pichu's body shines with bright blue light. This is the light of evolution. After a moment, a Pikachu reappeared in everyone's sight. Pichu evolution requires intimacy. This intimacy is not only for people, but also for Pokémon. The closeness between Kangaskhan and her son allowed Pichu to successfully evolve into Pikachu. Immediately afterwards, he started running quickly on the ground. No one knew where he would go. Just when everyone thought this was just a touching scene shown to them by Tiandao inventory. As Pikachu ran, a phantom figure gradually appeared around him. This is Xiaozhi from Pallet Town. Time returns to the present. Xiaozhi and Pikachu, who have become more mature, are running on the streets of Pallet Town. It turns out that Pichu is a degenerate version of Teacher Dappy. In other words, this is the story of Pikachu before he met Xiaozhi. Professor Oak's laboratory backyard. Hey, Pikachu, have you ever had that kind of experience before? Pika, don't worry, you won't be alone in the future. You have me and everyone accompanying you. Pikapi. There was some nostalgia in Pikachu's eyes, but more of it was satisfaction with the current situation. 0 because he met the best trainer in the world. In the image, time returned to the present, and Xiaozhi was fast asleep in the room. In his room are figures of the Royal Masked Man and Alola Championship Trophy. There are also photos with partners from various regions. Misty, Dawn, Lena, May, Lily and so on. It seems that the beginning of the 8 Masters picks up where Alola ends. In other words, the current Xiaozhi is the first generation Alola champion, and Big Skin Teacher has power comparable to a second-level god. Suddenly, the alarm clock rang. Xiaozhi was still fast asleep, and he threw the alarm clock out and smashed it into pieces. Every time Xiaozhi is called to get up, an alarm clock will disappear from the world, as everyone knows. After that, even if Pikachu used Thunderbolt, he couldn't wake up Xiaozhi. Finally, Delia came in and woke Xiaozhi up with a soft voice. Professor Oak has something to do with Xiaozhi today, so he asked Xiaozhi to get up early. Unexpectedly, Xiaozhi's old habit of staying in bed returned. Xiaozhi got up in a hurry, packed his clothes and ran to Professor Oak's house. After meeting Professor Oak told him the reason for calling Xiaozhi today. It turns out that today is the opening day of Sakuragi Laboratory. Professor Oak invited Delia and Xiaozhi to go to Sakuragi Laboratory, which is located in Vermilion City. When Delia's mother came over to deliver a lunchbox to Xiaozhi, she happened to hear the news. So she proposed to go together. She also wanted to go to Vermilion City to buy some desserts and the like. So a group of 3 people, plus 2 Pokémon, Mr. Mime and Pikachu, set out for Vermilion City. On the way, Professor Oak asked Xiaozhi if he was fulfilling his dream. Xiaozhi's answer was, of course. I will definitely embark on the road to becoming a Pokémon master with this guy. Xiaozhi picked up Pikachu and said excitedly, oh, then you have to work hard. As the first generation Alola champion, you can't be so irritable anymore. Okay, soon. The 3 of them arrived at Sakuragi Laboratory. Xiaozhi was very excited, so he ran over in advance. As a result, I met a Pokémon I had never seen before at the stairs, a yellow puppy. He was so excited that he directly picked up the puppy and rubbed it on his face. As a result, he enjoyed the taste of Thunder Shock. The whole person lay numb on the ground. Pikachu on the side was not worried at all, but started playing with the puppy. You Longdu. This is. Did you say that we would become partners of Pokémon Masters in the last second? Close black lens bracket. Diantha. Haha, Pikachu probably also knew that this level of Thunder Shock had no effect on Xiaozhi at all, so he ignored it. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Indeed, Xiaozhi couldn't wake up even if Pikachu used Thunderbolt in the morning, so how could he fall to this kind of Thunder Shock? Close black lens bracket. Alder. So what Shitaro looks like now, is he acting? Close black lens bracket. Xiaozhi is now lying on the ground with his whole body charred and black, as if he is cold. Normal. Logically speaking, it is impossible for that level of Thunder Shock to have any impact on Xiaozhi. The only explanation is, Xiaozhi started mimic Pikachu. In the image, Xiaochen, who has grown up, has just said goodbye to his friends at school and is preparing to go home to attend the opening ceremony of his family's laboratory. However, on the stairs home, she saw a black unknown object. Chapter 155. Xiaozhi still knows Lugia? Pikachu's Lugia? Advertisement. Xiaochun's cheerful expression froze, and a drop of cold sweat fell from her forehead. Anyone is happily preparing to go home to attend the opening ceremony. But I saw an unknown black object at my door, wouldn't you feel good? Caller, what is this? Woof woof, don't worry, let's go. A little scared, Xiaoharu quickly ran back to Sakuragi Laboratory with the collar. She was so scared that she didn't even see that there was a Pikachu next to Black's unknown object. Not long after Xiaochen left, Professor Oak came over. He recognized Xiaozhi lying on the ground at a glance. Said to it, Xiaozhi, if you don't get up, you will miss the opening ceremony of Sakuragi Laboratory. Oh, wait for me. Xiaozhi's whole body was shaken, and the black skin that had been scorched by electricity seemed to be peeling off, and normal fell down. Then follow Professor Oak and walk to Sakuragi Laboratory. Open black lens bracket Yulongdu. Sure enough. Xiaozhi is acting, close black lens bracket, Wallace. Is there a possibility that Xiaozhi fell asleep? Close black lens bracket. Dianci. Fell asleep after being electrocuted by Thunderbolt? I don't dare to think about it. I don't dare to think about it, close black lens bracket. Diantha. But judging from Xiaozhi's character, it doesn't seem impossible, close black lens bracket. Falling asleep due to Thunderbolt electricity. What kind of electricity resistance is this? In image Xiaozhi and others came to Sakuragi Laboratory and happened to catch up with the opening ceremony of Sakuragi Laboratory. Professor Sakuragi's son and daughter, Kaharu and Soda are standing next to them. When Xiaochen saw Xiaozhi, a suspicious light flashed in his eyes. How does it feel? Like I've seen him somewhere. But soon, Professor Sakuragi's speech interrupted Xiaoharu's train of thought. Under Professor Sakuragi's passionate speech, everyone's emotions were aroused. Suddenly, a huge exclamation point appeared on the screen in front of Professor Sakuragi. Everyone was shocked by this sudden accident. Then Professor Sakuragi checked what was going on. Everyone, I have news for you. Extremely rare Pokémon are likely to appear in Vermilion City's harbor. But this is just my speculation, Professor Oak. Xiaozhi's shout instantly attracted everyone. I saw Xiaozhi already starting to run at the door. I'm going to harbor to take a look. I'll be back later. Then Xiaozhi ran out quickly. This daredevil-like personality is very similar to that guy. He can't be the same person as that guy. Xiaochen looked at Xiaozhi's hurried look and thought of the person she hated. Both of these people seem to have almost irritable personalities. And that person only thinks about his own things all day long. Not caring about others at all. As long as you achieve your own goals, you don't care what others will do. He even took her to a dangerous place when he was a child and abandoned her. Could it be that this young man named Xiaozhi is also like this? But why does she always have a similar feeling? She wants to see it. Dad, I'll go take a look too. Saying that, Xiaochen also ran out. What's going on with this kid today? He wasn't interested in Pokemon before, and he was even a little scared. Professor Sakuragi looked at Xiaoharu, who ran away with some curiosity and couldn't figure it out for a while. Xiaochen. Is your daughter? I remember she didn't become a trainer. Yeah, Xiaochen is 14 this year, and she hasn't received any Earl Dervish Pokemon. The only Pokemon she's close to is our family's domesticated Pokemon. It seems that she received some kind of stimulation when we were camping. She didn't tell me no matter how much I asked her. Well. Professor Sakuragi sighed. In this world, normal people start to receive Earl Dervish Pokemon and travel when they're 10 years old. Whether it's a Sichuan trainer, a breeder, or a contestant. Anyway, they all have their own goals, but Kaharu, after returning from that camping trip, her interest in Pokemon seemed to have dropped significantly. Even to the point of being a little disgusted. When I was 10 years old, I even resisted traveling and wanted to go to school. As a result, after reading the book, I was even more fed up with Pokemon than before. As a father, he also asked many times, but he didn't get an answer every time. Camp. Is that the time you went with me? Professor Oak remembered the camping trip he organized before, and Xiaochen seemed to have participated. Well, I don't know what happened after that time, but now, Kaharu is actually interested in Pokemon. Why? Maybe. Not interested in Pokemon, but in people? Professor Oak said meaningfully. Yulongdu. Ah, this. Xiaozhi's charm is not that great, right? Close black lens bracket. Diantha. Is there a possibility that Xiaochen is just curious that the big black thing before looks like Xiaozhi? So I want to ask the reason? Close black lens bracket. Day. I can't rule out this possibility. Close black lens bracket. After all, the world in the image comes without taking stock. If you don't know so much about Xiaozhi's past, how could you be interested in Xiaozhi and pursue him? In the image, Xiaozhi ran out all the way. Xiaochen followed closely. Advertisement. She kept thinking about where she had seen that boy. Soon Xiaozhi and Xiaochen both arrived at the dock of Vermilion City. Just in time, a pitch-black tornado condensed and soaring in the sky. Between heaven and earth, the wind and clouds are changing color, and the wind is howling. In the surrounding blue sky and white clouds, only one area of Vermilion City Harbor was covered with dark clouds. With a loud cry, the clouds cleared and the fog dispersed. A big snow-white bird appeared in everyone's sight. With a white body, light blue belly, and dark blue tail fin, this Pokemon is exactly God of the Sea. Lugia. Professor Sakuragi's guess was correct. The Pokémon that appeared in Vermilion City Harbor were indeed mega rare Pokémon. There are already several trainers staying here at this time. It seems that they received the news earlier than Xiaozhi. After seeing Lugia again, they showed excitement and released their Pokémon. Thunder Pokémon, Gengar, Wartortle. Will, are you mistaken? Do these Pokémon just want to touch Lugia? That's outrageous. Close black lens bracket. Karen. They're just newborn trainers who are not afraid of tigers. Soon they will see the cruel truth. Close black lens bracket. As an elite trainer of the Johto region, I am naturally very familiar with the legend of the Johto region, Lugia. Legend has it that Lugia sleeps at the bottom of a deep ocean trench. It has the destructive power to whip up private houses with just a slight wave of its wings. Because of his excessive abilities, he can only spend time quietly at the bottom of the deep sea. It has amazing power that can suppress the rough seas, and it is a Pokémon that is said to be the god of the sea. It is said that when Lugia flaps its wings, it causes hurricane rains that last for 40 days. You want to fight Wartortle, a Pokémon that is as scary as a god? That's not how you touch porcelain, in the image. Just as Karen and Will guessed, when the 3 Pokémon were released, Lugia glanced at them disdainfully and ignored them. The 3 trainers felt that they were insulted, so they all started to attack Lugia. Freeze Ray, Thunder, Nightshade, Ice, Thunder, and Dark Power burst out. And Lugia wiped out all the skills with just one wing. Then he flapped his wings again, and a strong wind flew out. Whirlwind all the trainers in harbor directly to an unknown place. The power of Poseidon is first revealed. Immediately afterwards, more trainers came to trouble Lugia, and they seem to all want to conquer Lugia. The Pokémon this time are a bit passable. Bisharp, Garchomp, Steel Armored Crow, etc. are all Pokémon in their final form. However, it's still not Lugia's one-size-fits-all approach. Lugia flapped his wings slightly, and a strong wind blew them all away. You don't even need to use any moves. Almost all trainers were knocked away by Lugia. Just when Lugia wanted to rest on the sea for a while and enjoy the scenery, a voice came. Found you, Lugia. This familiar voice made Lugia turn around and look. I found a young man wearing a red and white hat and shorts and short sleeves standing by the harbor. There is also a yellow electric mouse surrounding the boy. When the boy raised his hat slightly, Lugia was stunned. This was not he. Long time no see, Lugia. How are you doing recently? Xiaochunren, who had just arrived behind Xiaozhi, was dumbfounded. Xiaozhi. No, Lugia. Wallace. I'm a good boy. Do you know Xiaozhi, Lugia? This range of friends is too wide. Close black lens bracket. Will. I want to read the story between Xiaozhi and Lugia now, immediately. Catalia. Ah, people want to see it too. This inventory of the Way of Heaven is so annoying. Why do you always hide something? Close black lens bracket. Yulongdu. Even Lugia knows it. Is there any mythical beast that Xiaozhi doesn't know? No, there are so many mythical beasts. Xiaozhi can know them all. What about Dialga, Kyogre Rayquaza? Category. Close black lens bracket. Lance counted them carefully and found that there were still a lot of legendary Pokémon and high-level legendary Pokémon. Xiaozhi can't know everyone, right? But being able to recognize the 2 gods of gold and silver in Johto region has surpassed 99% of the people in the world. Image 1 facing Xiaozhi's greeting. A memory also emerged from Lugia's mind. It's me. Long time no see. You seem to have grown a lot. I am the Alola champion now. If I meet Zapdos, Articuno and Moltres again, I will definitely be able to stop them directly. What the hell? Did her ears hear it wrong? What did the man named Xiaozhi say just now? 3 divine birds? Has he seen 3 divine birds? And Alola's original champion. This name was circulating in Xiaochun's heart. Suddenly, she remembered where she had seen Xiaozhi. Just on TV. What was playing at the time was an exhibition game from the Monaro Conference. The first generation Alola Alliance champion Xiaozhi versus the Royal Masked Man. And Xiaochun just happened to watch that live broadcast. Pikachu's intense burst of power at the end was still fresh in her memory. Advertisement. It was just the first time I met Xiaozhi, and I never thought of him. It was also that game that slightly changed her understanding of Pokémon. Xiaozhi should not be the same person as that guy, if he is like that guy. In this case, it is absolutely impossible to exert that kind of power in Pokémon battle. Xiaochun felt sorry in her heart for comparing Xiaozhi to that human-looking thing. After Xiaozhi and Lugia exchanged pleasantries for a while, fighting spirit began to boil on his face. Come and fight, Lugia. Let you see our current power. Pickup. Come on, let me see how much you have grown. Lugia responded to the invitation. He spread his wings and flew high in the sky. Very well, Pikachu, strike first. Thunderbolt, Pikachu. The current Pikachu has not yet set foot in the Galar region, so this is the power test of Pikachu at the peak of the 5th rank. Terrifying golden thunder and lightning burst out from Pikachu. Golden lightning as thick as a bucket pierced the sky and hit Lugia accurately. Bah! Lugia released the big bird's normal growl, and the white feathers all over his body stood on end with electricity. After only a few years apart, that Pikachu has grown to this point. It really shocked the bird, but there is still a bit of a gap with him. I saw Lugia's whole body trembled, scattering the golden thunder and lightning. Immediately afterwards, the mouth opened, surging water elements gathered in the air, and then exploded. The powerful water column exploded violently, the waveguide's turbulent water points directly at Pikachu. Seriously. Pikachu, get out of the way. Lugia's hydro pump has no hold back. If that water column as thick as a telegraph pole hits Pikachu, he won't be able to survive even 10 lives. Fortunately, Pikachu reacted quickly, turned into a white light and dodged away. However, the hydro pump hit the harbor pier and directly created cracks like spider web. The terrifying aftermath storm also directly affected the surrounding areas. Xiaozhi has the physique of a mega rookie, so there is nothing to be afraid of. However, Xiaochen, who was secretly watching from the side, did not have such a strong physique. Ah! Xiaozhi turned around and saw that a girl had been whipped into the air by whirlwind. So he quickly shouted to Lugia, "Lugia, save her." Lugia didn't have the slightest objection to Xiaozhi's command, and this wasn't the first time. The big snow-white bird spread its normally palm-like wings, and then flapped suddenly. The wind is howling. The wind is blowing. The strong wind held up Xiaochen in the sky, and then Lugia spread its wings and flew over. He attached it to his back, and then flew away. Xiaozhi. Hey, Lugia, just wait for me, Pikachu is gone. Pika. Then a dramatic scene appeared. Xiaozhi was chasing madly on the ground. Xiaochen sat on Lugia's back and enjoyed the comfortable breeze with a confused look on her face. Open black lens bracket will. Ha ha ha. Bung Boo is here. What the hell is this, close black lens bracket? Catalia. Peeved. Why did Lugia just abandon Xiaozhi and take Xiaochen away? Close black lens bracket. Professor Sakuragi. Could it be that my little spring beauty captured Lugia directly? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Xiaochen. Dad. What are you talking about? Close black lens bracket. Xiaochen was watching a movie with some classmates at this time. When she saw her father's speech, her face instantly turned red. The beauty of the country and all that. Don't talk nonsense, it's so embarrassing. Image 1. Xiaozhi kept chasing Lugia, and at the same time, there was a black-skinned boy who was also chasing Lugia. When everyone saw the figure of the black-skinned boy, they all felt bad. This guy. Why did he appear again? The black-skinned boy was above Lugia. He was running downhill, so he could barely keep up with Lugia's pace. And Xiaozhi. He was running uphill. Normal people would be exhausted, but Xiaozhi is carrying a Pikachu on his shoulders. Totally breathless. The dark-skinned boy chased for nearly 3 minutes. Finally, he was exhausted and lay down on the lawn above. Xiaozhi continued to chase for 5 minutes, and finally found an opportunity and jumped directly onto Lugia's back with a flying technique. Hoochie. Hoochie. Lugia. What are you doing? I just wanted to see if the boy's physical strength had weakened back then, but now it seems that it has changed a lot. Haha. Of course, after that, I traveled to many regions, all on foot. It's natural that my physical fitness has improved. Being flattered by Lugia, Xiaozhi instantly forgot about being left behind by Lugia just now. This is also true. Lugia really wants to see, in addition to Xiaozhi's progress in Pokémon, has your own strength improved? After all, this young man who went to the mountains and went to the sea was really fresh in his memory.